there are some who deny the fact that there is a good and there is a bad. And for some, this is just a defense against accepting the responsibility of being a spiritual being. It is a hard thought to consider that the reality that you live in is only half true, making you live a half life. Why? Because most of you only understand the physical, material reality of your life. This is done by design. The people who present the movies, music, and other programs you consume know this. They know that your weakness and your biggest lack of understanding lies in your lack of spiritual knowledge, which makes you live a half life. Various entities use your lack of believing in and or understanding the spirit world against you daily. The church does it, so most people have left the church and by default Christianity in search of other ways. In fact, the old patriarchal Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity have all dropped in popularity for obvious reasons: corruption, mismanagement, hypermaterialism, hypercriticism, robbery, etc. And the stewards of these systems have collectively disappointed the masses so much that folks are consistently falling away from any religion that draws a line establishing absolute holy from absolute evil. Just so happens to be the patriarchal ones do that. These concepts are often confused as good and bad when discussed within the context of the common contemporary beliefs surrounding the relevance of a so-called Abrahamic religion in a new age. People have been fooled into believing that if they pull the covers over their eyes, the monster in the room will go away. They say that evil is subjective, not absolute. They think of gods and devils as mythical or even worse, metaphorical. For most, the thought of gods and devils or demons as literal is terrifying and horrific. Because if devils and demons exist, folk may have to reconsider the ways they feed their flesh and actually think about the spiritual effects and repercussions of their carnal thoughts and actions. You may have to actually rethink and then change your lifestyle, as well as the way you view others, the way you view demons, and how you see your creator, as well as how you see yourself. And you are conditioned to avoid that type of introspective change and encouraged to live a half life. Why? Because most of you only understand the physical and material half of your life. This is done by design. The people who present the movies, music, and other programs you consume know this, and they share this information with their lodge brothers. Like the religious elite, these corporations and other entities will continually take advantage of the fact that most of you only understand the physical and material reality of your life, half of your life. Therefore, you live a half life, lacking spiritual enrichment, though you may have material enrichment, an abundance of that. But the producers of our music, movies, and even fashions, from hats to shoes and everything in between, do the same. They take advantage of your lack of understanding spiritual things, as do the makers of candles, incenses, games, and food and drink, from fast food to whole food, organic, plant-based, and everything in between. They also do the same. They take advantage of this lack of knowledge. The preschools, elementary schools, high schools, colleges, universities, libraries, government, even the banking and financial institutions that we deal with also do the same. They take advantage of your lack of spiritual knowledge, but you don't leave them. They all seem to collectively understand that you and I have been made to become increasingly spiritually ignorant and made to be more materially focused. Why? Because most of you only understand the physical, material half of the reality of your life. Therefore, you live a half life, lacking in spiritual enrichment.
You ain't never seen my movies?
Hey yo, hip hop. You over 50 years old. Now will you please grow up and raise your ratchet sons and daughters? The government-sponsored Sedgwick Avenue project projected an effect on the projects, a cursed land where it all began. They came and stole the sap. You see, the academic elite are the recognized gods of our society. Because of the suppression of quality education, most men are not intellectual, and therefore they are taken advantage of most often by the intellectually superior. If the academic authorities say it's real and then show you the book they read it in, then and only then will you believe it is real. This qualifies as a religion because it is based upon your faith and belief, not your appraisal of evidence. Most of the so-called books used as evidence are the handbooks of the elite, and this elite class uses forbidden knowledge the way that they've always used it even since antiquity. They can only use this ancient knowledge to exalt themselves as gods among men and to instill within you a dependence upon them, the intellectual, luciferian elite ruling class, rather than the creator. They always lead you into the demonic deception and strong delusion that you are a god and should seek no other than yourself. This lie has been repeated for millennia, and there are none among you who are truly able to exhibit true supernatural godlike abilities. However, you do exhibit the lofty intelligence of the enemy and the same dismissive disdain for the people of the Most High. And they play off of this idea that there's some Christian conspiracy that rules the world. No, we live in a world where oath takers use forbidden knowledge and the academically approved anti-Christianism to confuse minds and doom souls for a profit.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview. Listen, in 20 years won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. Understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
It's a pity, but your religion is whatever they write in their books. There is no one particular branch of messianic denomination that has all the right answers. It comes down to each human person and their ability to quiet their own mind and flesh, allowing these persons to then tap into the mind of the Creator, which authored the book by using the hands of men. There are priests, pastors, prophets, prophetesses, evangelists, apostles, ministers, and men and women of faith who can and do access the spirit that produced the wisdom within the book. These individuals have practically applied the experience and information in the book. They are able to help people understand the things that have been misunderstood and can explain the truths behind things that are purposely lied about by Luciferian secular academics and non-believers. We have lost many sons to the so-called culture. Will we sit back and watch the girls as they become the targets of demons attached to the music that so many young men have been the sacrifices of since its beginning? Unless you're blind or in denial, the conspiracy is clear. The devil has got the world on lockdown, and he doesn't even exist if you let the academics tell it. The truth is, these scholars make dollars off of your willful spiritual ignorance. So while you think that you've escaped the non-existent Christian conspiracy and avoided Pastor Porkchop's collection plate, you end up out-slicked by the intellectual who is devoid of spiritual honesty. They purposefully repeat the same lie as the serpent in the garden in essence promising you that there is greater freedom outside of God than with God. This is twisted into the classic Gnostic belief that a mean old God kept you away from the tree because he wanted you to be dumb and controllable. They then add one of the various Sumerian creation stories to confuse you into thinking that A, aliens are the creators of humans, and or B, the Anunnaki were the creator gods that the Bible is referring to. And by the time they are through with you, you have by default been led into an Aleister Crowley-typed mind state, without your knowing. They know, though, and are paid a hefty ransom for putting you under Luciferian mind control and corrupting your soul. The Anunnaki were the spirit beings expelled from the highest realm of supernatural existence. After being spiritually demoted, they found themselves in a degraded state and bound to the lower dimension. This is expressed various ways in various cultures. It can be understood as simply as this: the Anunnaki, the Neteru, the gods of Babylon, Kemet, Egypt, Persia, Greece, Rome, the Mayans, Aztecs, the Incas, the thousands of so-called gods of the Bhagavad Gita, and the dragon dynasties of Asia were all various disguises used by this same group of expelled and degraded supernatural beings. The so-called lost book of the Bible, the book of Enoch, an apocryphal text, gives us the overstanding that the fallen angels are these same beings. The myths of these beings from various traditions worldwide bear witness to their corruptive behavior concerning man, and the stories of these fallen beings taking advantage of women and the naivety of humans is the stuff Greek mythology is made of. The book Stolen Legacy by G.H. James shows and proves to us that if Greece did it, the likelihood is that Egypt did it first. So rather than have the pride that many of us once had upon hearing these things, let us now put it into perspective. These beings were here at the dawn of civilization, and at a point of time in history, they intervened, giving humans what would become the blueprint for civilization. They came first to the leaders. The tribal patriarch and high priests were the initial target, but their soul corruption was not the true intention or ultimate goal. The ultimate target of their corruption was the daughter of the tribe. For these daughters would become mothers, as nature dictates, and these children could then be raised under new laws, statutes, and mandates. Fallen implies a falling from grace, a falling from righteousness into unholiness, and most of all, a falling from the heavenly into the hellish realm, from powerful to dependent. They needed men to give over their sons and daughters. They need man to agree to worship them as God, instead of the true and living, beneficent, and almighty Creator. They need man to abandon humility and subservience to the divine who is greater. They would give man knowledge that would give him enough foolish pride to equate himself with God in the most disrespectful way, until eventually their minds, hearts, and sadly their souls would be very far from the Creator. The fallen angels disguised as gods gave men spiritually inspired texts as well, in mockery of the Holy Spirit. There is no time or space, nor need for genitalia with the Supreme Being. The creation is limited in a way that the Creator who created it is not. These fallen angels, disguised as ancient ancestral gods, etched out papyrus scrolls, hieroglyphs, and cuneiform tablets that gave man the fallen's version of a story that was already written. These learned men know that the spirit realm is real, and they deal with it seriously behind closed doors. This means that they know that what they are telling you is not what they really believe. And the target is always Christian belief, because therein is something they do not want you to access that is not present within other spiritual disciplines or religions. They swear an oath of secrecy not to divulge to you the vulgar and profane, according to their own writings, the fact that they know about and get their information from the spirit realm, not unlike what many entertainers have admitted in one way or another over the years. This is the reason they need secret societies and oath takers. An oath is not only a form of spiritual binding, aka spiritual bondage, but it can even be, in some cases, legally binding. They threaten your family members to dissuade you from being brave, and they will defame, kill, or sue you to keep their secrets hidden from the public. The Eye of Horus, also known as the Eye of Ra or Re, is an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection, royal power, and good health, revered by witches and occultists for its mystical significance in warding off evil and enhancing spiritual insight, so they say. It represents the all-seeing eye of God that observes the world, providing divine guidance and safeguarding against malevolent forces, so they say. There are some traditions in areas of the South where the mixed practice of magic and witchcraft blends into their interpretation of Catholicism-inspired Christianity, and I say those folks should read what white folks say sometimes. It will give you an expanded understanding, so you won't just hear pro, but anti too. That's important. It's important to hear what people who don't believe as you believe think about something. It's important to have that information on hand as well. Unfortunately, a lot of folks who look like you are more apt to take advantage of you and your lack of self-esteem. They'll take advantage of your pride and pump you up and make you think, oh, this is yours, you should wear it. You should ask yourself, why do witches wear it? Why do folks who have no apparent genetic or historical connection or familial connection to Egypt or Africa wear it? What do they believe about it? What did Aleister Crowley say about that eye? Have you ever heard the term the brown eye? Those things correlate. And again, unless you are able to hear things that are told to the different degrees, you may be stuck with only one understanding of what a symbol means. And usually that understanding is what that symbol means to the lower degree.
You want to be a little poppin' bitch in the music industry? You have to worship Beyonce. And guess what? I don't worship Beyonce. Fuck Beyonce. And fuck the music.
This is the latest dispatch just received in our newsroom.
I got it red because I like red. This is my favorite color. Most girls get hearts right here. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a gorilla right there. It's a tie between my most two painful tattoos. My hand hurts so bad. Oh my God. I actually passed out getting this tattoo. I got this one last year. After I had blew up. I got this one last year. After I had blew up. I was at the dude's house in his apartment. I was getting it. He was almost done. And like, I ain't gonna lie, I was smoking and I was drinking. Oh, and I had a weight trainer on. And so I had went to sleep. I was watching Bad Girls Club. And out of nowhere, I just felt this like, I just felt woozy. And so I'm like, I gotta go to the restroom. I ain't tell nobody what I feel like. So I got up, I took 2 steps, and I just fell out with half of a tattoo done. Cause I don't know, like I hurt it so bad. I don't know, like I was taking it, but I just passed out. And then this one right here on my leg, I had actually used some numbing cream for this one. It's right here on your bone, so like you can't numb your bone, so it still hurt it. And I couldn't walk, like I was in a wheelchair for a week after I got this tattoo. This one was the longest because this is the biggest tattoo I got, and it's a lot of detail. Somebody saying, shh, this a clock. Like, I just got this off Google.
Just somebody saying, shh, this a clock. Like, I just got this off Google.
I'm never down. I'm never down. Any of you.
According to the Duncan's Masonic ritual, there are specific disciplinary actions for lodge members who disclose what the lower degrees are told is the secret word shibboleth.
Any of you.
This is a fidelity test. These actions include reprimand, suspension, or even expulsion from the Masonic lodge.
Any of you.
The severity of the disciplinary action depends on the nature and context of the disclosure.
What's the big idea? Don't stand there talking, son. Speak up.
I can't see. What's the matter? I had my eyes closed.
I paid $2.30 for your head yesterday. I always pay. Although it's not often somebody hits me for $7,000. Sit down. I don't want to sit. I want my money. $2.30 will be in a few minutes to make it $7. In the meantime, I'm going to sell you a house. Go on, sit down.
What's the big idea? Don't stand there talking, son. Speak up.
I can't see. What's the matter? I had my eyes closed.
I paid $2.30 for your head yesterday. I always pay. Although it's not often somebody hits me for $7,000. Sit down. I don't want to sit. I want my money. $2.30 will be in a few minutes to make it $7. In the meantime, I'm going to sell you a house. Go on, sit down.
His style was vampired from Nas and Big. The Do As Thou Wilt comes from Crowley. His nickname came from Jazzo and Jehovah. And the rock symbol comes from Jewish priests who learned enchantment magic from Babylonians. How original is your goat? spells does not mean they can. You have to surrender your will and be willingly influenced. This is why stars use these signs. As the bird by wandering is the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. An intentional mudra is used to cast the spell. If a child uses the sign as okay, it does not have the same effect unless a person is highly suggestible and easily hypnotized. The intent does have something to do with the projection of the sign. Usually they will say words that correlate with placing you under a spell. Inner city children from places like Gary, Memphis, and Detroit don't usually come into contact with occult teachings in ancient books. They usually learn from those closely connected to their family and or careers. Occult knowledge and grooming may also come by way of photographers, stylists, managers, trainers, etc. Other types of handlers. Someone had to show this boy these signs. Someone showed all of these artists these signs when the artist was very young and impressionable and hungry to make it in that business. They didn't question. They are shown the sign and then they are given photo opportunities where they can display it. Now a symbol has different meanings based on degree. The above is a reference to ritual sodomy, a blasphemous practice Crowley reveled in, especially with men and boys. Lots of folks have heard the degree of the 666. Fewer relate the okay or all clear sign to a Hindu mudra, into orgies, sex rituals, and alleged friendly fornication. And sodomy is always on the menu, as this is anathema to the creation of life. It's putting a part of creation directly where things are discarded. And that symbolically and spiritually, physiologically, has a supernatural effect. Sometimes a gesture is made by a person who has seen someone else do it and they are just imitating what they see, either consciously or subconsciously. This is an example of a purposefully displayed mudra or hand signal. Stop saying every symbol is something. It makes people who would ordinarily listen withdraw from the conversation. We are informed, not paranoid or delusional. The usage of these signs is always deliberate and obvious, so no need to stretch. Some people talk with their hands or even pose in a particular way because they have seen others do so. But when they are signaling, there will be a still shot, a close-up, or a verbal cue in most every case. And usually, all of the above will be combined so that the sign has maximum power.
His wife's birthday is tomorrow. Happy
Oh, look at her.
The Bible speaks plain, and you so-called modern church-going fakers.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You look just like the sinner. You act just like the sinner.
That's right.
And you think just like the sinner.
That's right. That's right.
That's why you find T.D. Jakes hanging out with Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
The problem with Puffy is a spiritual one, which lends to the general public having a gross lack of understanding about what's going on with him. The man said his name was Brother Love. He meant Brother Evol, or EVOL, which is a Gnostic concept. He has heard the poor man's doctrine based off of the twisting up of the scripture ye are gods from the 5% nation, or universal nation of gods and earths. They have a poor man's understanding of ye are gods, which is inherent in their gross misinterpretation of the intended meaning. It says, that though ye are as or like gods, you are very different in that you shall die like men. And it was a part of a greater dialogue condemning the lofty aspirations of the fallen and their agents. The wealthy version of this Gnostic doctrine is similar. They too believe that they are as gods. The difference is that the society men of higher degree know that tapping into demonic power makes them godlike in the presence of the average man. So they have no delusions about their righteousness. In fact, they are aware that it is through unholy, insane, immoral practices of the flesh that mortal men are able to attract and conjure the presence of the agents of fallen angels using ritual witchcraft and ancient conjuring secrets passed on via secret societies. So Diddy heard the Christian say, God is love. Since he believes himself to be God and God is love, then he too must be love. Demons will drive a person from Gnosticism to Luciferianism, to dissociation, and finally into insanity.
Everything I play gon' be functional. Your lies ain't working now. We I have to shut you down.
Your actual real name is Gloria Hallelujah Woods.
Mm-hmm. My change say hallelujah. Anytime.
But there was a pastor that was reciting one of your verses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're like, hold on now, hold on. Did you like read what let me go back. Cause this ain't no way this man in pulpit.
Actually, a pastor did it before.
Okay.
When I first dropped Tomorrow, a pastor, right. I think probably 2 pastors had quoted it in their sermons.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when I saw that again, and when he said, yeah, Glo, that's what had me tripping. I was like, okay, but I feel like it wasn't nothing wrong with it. Like, he was relaying the message he was trying to relay, but, culturally, that's my song is pop right now, so he mixed it in, but he didn't say nothing bad. Like,
if it's going to get the congregation to listen and to follow.
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Your actual real name is Gloria Hallelujah Woods.
Mm-hmm. My change say hallelujah. So I got my grandma, daddy's side name, not the middle name, but she died before I was born, so I never met her, but that's her name. And my mama never really explained to me where hallelujah came from. I guess she was feeling blessed, and I was her 8th child. She said 8 is what kind of number is 8? 8 some type of number.
Mm-hmm.
And because all my sisters, my mama got 10 kids. All the boys, okay, so the oldest 3 got their own daddy.
Right.
And then the rest of 7, we got the same daddies. And so all my daddy, yeah. My mama got 10 kids. Yeah. But all my brothers, like, they got the same middle name. And all my sisters got the same middle name. Like, all my brothers got my daddy's middle name, which is Carmichael. All my sisters' middle name is Nicole. I'm the only one whose middle name is Hallelujah.
Yeah, well, you different. You special, huh? So you that chosen one. You that chosen one.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in a household with 10 brothers and sisters?
We used to be jacking.
Yo.
You know what jacking means?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be jacking. That's what a lot of people in one house gonna do, though.
No, not necessarily, Glo. I ain't gonna let you talk about that. That's okay.
How many siblings you got?
I got a brother and sister. It's 3 of us. I'm the youngest.
Just imagine, it was a lot of us, so we used to get on each other's nerves.
Right.
And pick on each other and fight. But we love each other at the end of the day, though.
Yeah. 10 brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. So what was a typical day like for you? Because okay, you were homeschooled until you were what, the 5th grade?
Right.
And then one of the older sisters called CPS.
Mm-hmm.
And then CPS intervened, and your mom had to enroll you guys in traditional school.
Yeah, so the sister that's right on top of me, she was like, was always a problem child.
Yeah.
In every child group. And so we used to get whoopings, like every child get whoopings, but my sister didn't like getting whoopings, so she used to call DCS on my mama. And she was like, my mama used to beat on us, and then we weren't learning none in homeschool and all this stuff. And so my mama had to put us in school after that. So it was like she was forced, because she didn't want us. I think my mama didn't want us to know like my mom is super sanctified, and she always say certain stuff is of the world. She used to say she didn't want us to be of the world. Like, she didn't want to expose us to all the outside world. And so only place we went was home and church. We didn't go nowhere else. And so, by the time I got in school, I was 10, I was in 5th grade.
You was glad to go to school?
I was happy to go to school, because we stayed 7 houses down from the school. And so every day after school, we seeing the kids come down the street playing.
And they be like, playing in school.
Yeah, looking like they got friends, like they having fun. And I used to, like, every time at 2:15, I used to look out the window at the kids walking home from school, and they just used to be so happy having fun. So I used to want to go to school so bad. I was so happy when we finally had to go to school. Like,
so what was the relationship like? Your relationship like with your mother? You said 10 kids. It's hard to divvy up attention and affection for 10 kids now. That's a lot.
It's just like, so I'm the third youngest, so I'm number 8 out of 10 kids.
Yeah.
But I never was treated like I was a young child. Like, once my oldest sister was grown and left the house, my mama had me like the child that was next to her. Like, I used to have to put all my mama receipts together, so keep up with her money. I used to have to remember all her passwords to her stuff. So I never was treated like, my mama never handicapped me. Like, I never was in a group with the young kids. Right. So, like, she always had me by her. So, like, I was always more advanced than everybody. Right. Because she always had me, like, her assistant a little bit.
Help me understand. Your mom was, like, pagan?
What's pagan?
Like, there's two forms. There's one that doesn't believe in religion. They don't go to church. They don't go to mosque. They don't go to synagogues. And then there's one that believes that there are many gods.
No, my mom ain't one of them. My mama just believe in God. And
she believed in God.
And she don't believe in holidays. Like, she don't believe in Christmas. She don't believe in Halloween. Like, we didn't celebrate a lot of holidays coming up.
Where does she believe, like nature?
Like, as in what?
It's like. Polytheism, which is many. So I'm trying to get a sense of, like, your mom. If you didn't go to church, you didn't go to synagogues.
I went to church.
You went to church?
Yeah.
So you grew up in the church?
Yeah, I grew up in church.
I'm confused.
What you confused about?
Oh, there's that you. there's that you.
That ain't you.
Okay, so you grew up in the church. That's a lot of people to haul to church. Y'all have a bus? What y'all have? A little mini bus? A Sprinter van?
My dad, I remember this white van my dad always had that we had to ride because it was 10 of us.
I just tell them the truth. I sell my soul. Should I just tell them the truth?
Sold it for a double cheeseburger with mac sauce.
With extra onions on it, baby. Don't play. Yo. It's time for me to just keep it 100 with y'all. Like, yes, they got me in this I don't know. I can't get out of it. I'm getting too much money. I don't want to get out of it. That's what y'all wanted to hear, now I'm saying it. They talk about stop playing. We just left this Hollywood party, baby. This Balenciaga party. Fuck with Balenciaga. Fuck with Lindsay. Lindsay cool, he cool. No, what do you say? When you get your taxes, bring me Balenciaga. Bring me Balenciaga himself.
Bring me Lewis himself.
It's a bring out the buffalo. Buffalo Wild Wings. Yep. Me and Buffalo Wild Wings. Bring out the buffalo. Yes, I'm with the Illuminati. Yeah.
Like 4 to 5 hours because it's so much detail, I guess. This snake right here, it's so ugly. I don't know what told me to get it. I just was mad. Like, I used to get tattoos when I got mad. Like, when I was going through stuff, I used to be like, okay, I'm finna go get a tattoo to, like, feel some pain. You know what I'm saying? So, like, tattoos really used to be, like, therapy to me. And so I was going through something, and I just was like, I want a tattoo. And so I just went and got this, and it's, like, just there for no reason. I want to get it covered up with something cute that, like, stem from right here, because this one gonna get covered up too. But oh my God, it hurts so bad. Like, this one hurt it so bad. This another one that hurt, because I feel like any tattoo that's on your bones hurt. This right here on my finger, this the Leo sign, and this the Saint sign, because, you know, I'm a saint. I'm not a saint, but I am a saint.
Strong sister, the center should be the higher power, and this is also who an enlightened one should serve upon realizing that there is a power greater than yourself, not a man. And I am sorry that the Luciferian elite power structure has done such a thorough job of deceiving people about this, and that the elders have done such a poor job helping the young ones overstand. What makes a higher power higher is that the things that limit us do not limit said power. As humans, we are limited in our ability to create. We need certain tools and variables in place so that we can order pre-existing things into what we call a creation. The true creator does not have these limitations, making this power truly supreme. The creator does not need to do the things that we must do in order to create. Again, this is a true mark of divinity, supremacy, deity. The fact that we live in a society that centers upon prejudice and secretly demonic, male rulers of the mostly Caucasian persuasion, purposely drives young females and young males away from the prevalent natural order, as established by the aforementioned supreme being or higher power. White male supremacy is out of order, and whenever we are out of order as humans, we will experience confusion. There is a collective confusion that is being spread via social media, which is corporate mind control disguised as free speech and networking. This confusion has become viral due to the world's youth naturally rejecting the insanity of the status quo concerning class, race, and religion, primarily. The problem is that the anger and resentment that some younger students of the truth feel is a result of an unnoticed enemy. I recall when I was unaware that I had been tricked into believing in a Christian conspiracy that did not really exist.
She has a huge impact on music. Like, come on, Beyonce. Like, Beyonce is just like, I think she's a superhuman. Like, like I want to touch her.
That and like I can't go in stores no more by myself, none of that. But I still be acting shocked to see other celebrities.
Yeah.
Like I still act like, oh my God.
Who was your favorite person to meet? Like the person you really fangirled out?
Beyonce. I just met her again yesterday. I met her at the Grammys last year, and then at the awards, I had just got done presenting the award to TLC. I walked past Beyonce room. I was like, oh, kind of scared. They were like, they had asked, can I talk to Beyonce? She let me in her room. I was like, ah! And she always be so nice to me, and she just, I feel like she loves me as much as I love her. Like, for real. Like, and I get super geeked every time I meet her. So yeah, Beyonce.
The conscious, aka woke, folk around me were convinced, and had convinced me of a Luciferian lie.
You all the best.
What do you mean?
Our music cast person of the year. She is a man.
Baby, I'm never getting rid of this wig. This wig is going in the trophy case. Bitch, this is the wig I met Beyonce in. I damn near want to take my makeup off. Wait. I don't want to hear shit. I met Beyonce. What? Try to come around me now, bitch. Too late for all that. You went way back then, but how about now, bitch? Because I may be Beyonce now.
Camille did an interview interview a few days ago with DJ Leaks. Emil told DJ Leaks her and Beyonce had a sexual relationship. It wasn't nothing serious. Well, to her at least.
It happened. It is what it is.
What happened to Emil?
I don't know, man. Emil, she just disappeared, man. Like, one day Hov just say, oh, you'll never see her again, and I never did.
Beyonce is once again caught up in gay rumors, and this time the evidence is irrefutable. Yes, you heard that right. Black music queen and the wife of Jay-Z has been involved with a woman. And this woman is none other than the artist Emil, signed to Jay-Z's label. Not only that, Beyonce regularly uses female rappers for gay sex.
Beyonce had a girlfriend. Was a little stalking bitch.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have been together for more than 2 decades now. The two keep giving us couple goals moments. We love seeing them look happy and madly in love with each other. But the truth has finally revealed itself, and it's even more shocking than you thought. This marriage between Jay-Z and Beyonce is far from perfect. In fact, Beyonce might not even be attracted to Jay-Z. It's because she seems to have the entirely opposite type. Beyonce likes women, and there have been many reports regarding her using female rappers for sex.
Lady Gaga says Beyonce is a lesbian.
Beyonce might have done her best to try and erase her past, but that's not entirely possible. The internet doesn't forget, or let you forget it either. Her romantic relationship with the rapper Emil will never be forgotten. But who is this Emil, and where did she go? Let's get into that.
Emil told DJ Leaks her and Beyonce had a sexual relationship.
Emil was a rapper who was part of Major Coins. Although the group didn't last, but Emil was a born star. Everybody expected her to lose her fame as quickly as it came. But Emil was spectacular in her music. She got signed to Jay-Z's record label, and the future seemed endless and vast. Her soft yet raspy tone became a signature of several Rockefeller anthems. She was so promising that she even got to make a track with Beyonce.
What's up, girl? What's up, Emil?
But things took a shocking turn when this relationship between Beyonce and Emil went way beyond the song. Rumors started to spread that the two are a lot more than just friends. The latest news about this relationship comes from none other than Emil herself, who was once told her close friends what her deal was with Beyonce. Turns out the two were very much involved with each other and had a full-on relationship.
It wasn't nothing serious. Well, to her at least. She claimed Beyonce started to catch feelings and was on some stalking type shit.
Allegedly, Beyonce was the one who fell harder and faster. Although the two were equally involved in the affair, Emil was still not as deeply and obsessively attached as Beyonce.
She said how Beyonce would just pop up at the studio unannounced and drive by her apartment several times to see if she was fooling with anybody else.
Beyonce wanted the new coming artist all to herself. She even acted like a stalker and showed up at Emil's apartment to make sure Emil wasn't sleeping with anyone other than her. But Emil was in a relationship with Killah Priest, and even though she was sleeping with Beyonce, she would never choose her over Killah. Beyonce wasn't having this, so she gave Emil an ultimatum to choose her or Killah. And Emil ended up making a choice Beyonce hadn't seen coming.
Beyonce was like, look, you gotta choose. It's gonna be either me or Killah Priest. And of course, Emil chose Killah Priest.
But Beyonce isn't just any lover you can easily discard. In fact, Beyonce made sure that the rapper suffered the consequences of not choosing her. Now that Emil was no longer giving Beyonce what she wanted, aka gay sex, She was of no use to her, and Beyonce decided to get her out of the way. Beyonce, in her vengeance, ruined Emil's career with the help of Jay-Z.
Beyonce spazzed out again and started making several calls, and then boom, she was kicked from the label. And 2 years later, Beyonce and Jay-Z was a thing.
And just like that, Emil was thrown out of the music industry for refusing to sleep with Beyonce any longer. Jay-Z also jumped in to defend his woman and dissed Emil in his song. He rapped, "And you got a couple of beans and you don't have a clue? Your situation is bleak. I'ma keep it real, 'cause effing with me, you gotta drop a mill. 'Cause if you gotta cop something, you gotta cop for real." Although the reasons for her removal from the label and her blacklisting from the music industry are pretty evident to everyone, Emil tried to paint it as a personal choice. She talked about this in an interview and said, "I started to rebel. I rebelled against the industry because it's not what I wanted. I hated traveling. I wasn't at after parties or the club. Also, at the time, my son's asthma, who was 5 or 6 years old at the time, was getting worse, and no one was there for him. I had to be there for him." She went on to clarify against that decision was hers entirely, and that no one or nothing had fated her. She said, "I felt like it just wasn't for me. That's when I started rebelling. I started rebelling because I wanted out. It was easier for me to slip away. I fated myself. No one fated me. And that's when everything seemed to go left." She even said that she left the industry because the more money she made, the more deals she had to make with Satan.
Many entertainers in the music industry have recounted stories of secretive practices, rituals, and eyes-wide shut-styled parties attended by the elite. These accounts suggest that true success in the industry often hinges not merely on talent and drive, but on a willingness to engage in these clandestine activities. According to these stories, artists who excel are often those who partake in sacrifices, blood drinking, and other rituals associated with witchcraft and conjuring. This suggests a manipulative system where secret and also secret societies perpetuate demonic practices in secrecy. Deals are purportedly made with malevolent entities behind closed doors, promising artists power and success in exchange for the misuse and eventual destruction of their very souls. The existence of such practices serves as a stark warning to young artists who might be misled into believing that talent alone is the key to stardom. These dark and hidden rituals, rather than who rises to the top in the competitive world of entertainment. Having studied and experienced the music industry, I can assert that certain occult practices play a significant role in determining an artist's success. This is beyond conspiracy theory at this point. The secret societies are becoming bolder in the things they allow to be presented in the presence of the uninitiated. They have less fear than ever of a public outcry leading to revolution or uprising. The mainstream media and the web of lies that catches you up in the net of the internet has desensitized you to the point of sedation. If you do not have a picture, video, or something else you deem as a receipt, you do no believe there is grease in fat meat. When it comes to the darkest things in this world, receipts as you expect them will be few and far between. Champ. Try the if-then logic model that we learned in algebra. Some of y'all probably had a problem solving for X or finding the unknown. Do the math. How long does something have to keep happening before you see a pattern which brings you to a logical conclusions? So these conspiracies are, by definition, accurately titled. Two or more gather together to conspire against an institution, idea, person, or persons. But they are theories until they are proven. What constitutes proof? Should you expect, in a devilish world, for the devilish to get caught on camera or leave you some obvious evidence? No. Luciferians also understand faith, so they want you to find them out by discernment, which is why they leave the vague clues they do. It taunts the uninitiated and gaslights the less than critical thinker. But for the purpose of this writing, we will briefly defer to referencing these ideas as theory. Let's look at two common theories concerning success in the music industry. The first theory is Aleister Crowley's sex magic rituals, which posit that sexual energy can be harnessed and directed to achieve personal power and success. Crowley, a well-known occultist, described these rituals as a means to summon spiritual entities and harness their power to influence worldly outcomes, including career advancement in the arts. The second theory involves the horrific notion of sacrificing one's child for success. This ancient and dark belief suggests that the ultimate sacrifice, offering one's offspring, can guarantee immense power and fame. Historical and modern accounts imply that some individuals within the music industry might resort to such extreme measures to achieve and maintain their status. These practices, shrouded in secrecy and often linked to powerful secret societies, allegedly ensure that those willing to comply with these gruesome rituals are propelled to the top, regardless of their natural talent. These theories underscore the disturbing undercurrents that may influence the path to stardom in the music business.
Passage, then you get to go to the next level, blood sacrifice ritual. There's no fame without blood sacrifice.
In our society, the principle of free speech allows entire communities to form based on shared religious beliefs and spiritual traditions. We often overlook the fact that some of these communities walk a fine line between what is considered devilish and what is of the Most High. Just as mainstream religious communities like Christians, Muslims, or even Mormons might practice variations of their faith, there are groups that deviate significantly from traditional doctrines. These are not the peculiar people referenced in 1 Peter 2:9, but rather individuals who blend elements of paganism, witchcraft, and Afrocentric voodoo or hoodoo into a syncretic form of Christianity. Such practitioners seek quick results, contrasting with those who follow scriptural wisdom, believing in divine timing, and seeking God's favor within His will. Impatient or faithless individuals might resort to white witchcraft to expedite their desires, thereby aligning themselves with the malevolent forces behind these practices. These communities, while often causing harm mainly to themselves, can be found worldwide, particularly in the southern United States. Regions like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee are notorious for harboring these spiritual gateways and portals, where entities purportedly offer deals that should be refused. Entire communities sometimes develop around these mystical locations, producing generations of witchcraft practitioners, often hidden within what seems to be a Christian environment. These practices underscore a complex spiritual landscape that challenges conventional religious norms and highlights the enduring tension between faith and the allure of occult practices. Perhaps you've heard the tale of Robert Johnson, the Mississippi Delta blues legend who is said to have profoundly influenced the creation of rock and roll. Johnson's life and music are steeped in mystery and legend, particularly the story that he sold his soul to the devil at the Crossroads in exchange for his extraordinary musical talent. This myth has become an integral part of his legacy, suggesting that his sudden, unparalleled skill and innovation in the blues genre were not merely the result of natural talent and hard work. Johnson's influence on rock and roll is immense. Artists such as Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, and Bob Dylan have all cited Johnson as a pivotal influence in their musical development. I maintain that the reverence of Johnson is more closely tied to his influence in their spiritual development. Despite his brief life, he died at the age of 27, making him the first posthumous inductee into the infamous 27 Club. Robert Johnson's legend includes the legend of the Crossroads. This is where he said that he met the devil and made his deal. He is not the first musician to claim to make a deal with the devil or a Faustian pact, but he is a pioneer in that he was a black man from the rural South, and he played his blues guitar without accompaniment. To the struggling black musician in the impoverished areas of the rural South, his tale unfortunately offered a hope and a chance to make it out of their circumstances, so they thought. He met an untimely, unexpected end and died poor. But in time he became famous and made someone, somewhere, very rich from his recordings. To this day, poor and struggling artists inside and outside of the Mississippi Delta, with and without talent, are still trying to find the crossroads that will lead them to sudden success. Just as Robert Johnson's tale of selling his soul at the crossroads has become legendary, shaping the narrative of musical talent and supernatural pacts, modern tales of secret rituals and elite gatherings suggest that success in the music industry often involves more than just talent. Communities that blend Christianity with occult practices, such as those found in the southern United States, mirror these legends, perpetuating beliefs in mystical gateways and dark deals with the devil and/or demons. These hidden practices and their influence on both historical and contemporary artists highlight a complex interplay between faith, ambition, and the allure of the supernatural that imprints upon the soul of the listener.
Compare it to another Memphis phenomenon, the so-called Voodoo Village, in the southwest part of town. Visiting this old homestead late at night and running away giggling was once a rite of passage for Memphis teenagers. But in reality, it was nothing more than the home of a soft-spoken, reclusive black artist named Washington James Harris. Harris expresses the unique personal beliefs his father taught him, a combination of Christianity, Masonic lore, through folk art, which is why his yard is covered in wooden crosses and stars. But none of the teenagers ever stopped to ask him that, which is why, as of this writing, he's put up a fence.
Today, everyone with a YouTube or TikTok account seems to believe and preach to you that there are many other ways to have some other connection to spirituality. Quote unquote. These new ideas are becoming increasingly popular, but have they been tested? And are they really new? They're not new, they're actually old ideas. The old world ideas of the days of Noah, returning to today, just as the word said it would. Coincidentally, these same practices that they call New Age are actually Old Age and come from the Babylon mystery system. Gnosticism will lead you directly into Luciferianism, which is also inherent in the Babylonian mystery system. Luciferianism is self as God, claiming that you are a non-existent and unproven concept such as being interspiritual, unchurched, or non-binary, or God may make you seem more interesting today, but consider how will learning and living this New Age lifestyle really affect the style of your life in reality as you mature. Sadly, both the old and the young fall victim to the same anti-Christian deception. I know it sounds cool to you, but it's so stupid, and most importantly, it's untrue. We are not the fallen angels. Though it sounds cool, you want to be an angel. Young-splaining is okay when it comes to musical taste, but when it comes to spiritual matters, please find an elder. Please. And I appreciate and applaud the efforts of the young to try to understand, but only through experience and application of what you think you know is truth revealed. The fallen angels are deceptive beings from the book of Enoch. They have an origin. Don't make a new one. Study.
I know you're gonna dig this. Get it down.
3, 1, 3.
Kick it over here. Kick it over here.
And the magnificent.
I love it.
spirit that drives Freemasons to believe the forbidden knowledge within their secret doctrine is no longer a secret. They have spread their doctrine through various means, most notably through the use of social media. The oath-taking pastors and spiritual leaders of this world have done their job. They have turned you away from the God of your elders and their history book. The rejection of all things biblical, scriptural, Israelite, or truly Christian, truly of the way of the Messiah Christ, has blinded the world with an antichrist spirit. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. When people say the ancestors will do this or that, they are not speaking of family, but of familiar spirits, ancient spirits familiar with you and your family. Therefore, they can imitate them. Ancestors are at rest. Now you must do your best. Be careful not to make the mistakes that they did and connect with the God of your grandparents and the creator of your initial ancestors. Spirits lack their own blood, reproductive systems, and DNA. The elite know this, and that is why they crave yours. Television programming of Fox 666 brought you The Simpsons and Married with Children, and these shows helped make the father appear to be stupid, weak, oblivious, ignorant, beast-like, and irrelevant. Now we see a fatherless generation which rejects the idea of the Heavenly Father. The devil happy. You are a part of a powerful corporation, business, musical group, dance group, prayer group, community organization, mosque, church, cheerleading squad, or bowling team. If you want success, you need to have a strong and capable leader, even in a marriage. Why? Because this is the way of order, even in partnership. In this era, many people prefer things to be disorderly, and you have free will to be disorderly and out of order. But your mind, body, soul, and life will also be disorderly and out of order, and everything around you will bear witness to that. Like the serpent in the enclosed garden, the lies of New Age feminism are aimed at destroying the importance and righteous influence of the woman. The devil impersonates her, masculates her, poisons her womb, and tempts her toward disorder. Some foolishly complain, why is there no female in the Trinity? Answer, there is no Trinity, but only one God expressed in the flesh as Jesus, and in the spirit as the Ruach, or the Holy Spirit. This is a distortion by the ancient Roman Catholic elite to say Trinity. Most who follow the way do not follow Catholicism and see it as cultish at best. Number 2, why do we have to have ovaries and a womb in order to create, but the Heavenly Father does not? Answer, because he is the supreme being and needs no companion. Number 3, why are there no female angels and warriors and stuff? Answer, because women were not made to fight or suffer or work the same way that men do. This is order. Choose to be disorderly. But the world around you will bear witness that you're being disorderly. Nature follows order. The dead know not a thing, but secret society members know quite a bit. A lot of them get together and put together these shows, these ghost hunter shows. See, some things have no receipts, like supernatural and spiritual matters. These require our faith. Faith is not blind belief. It is a spiritually informed expectation and knowing based on trust in the Most High God. Some blindly believe in what godless, soulless scholars, scientists, theologians, and authorized authorities say. They have chosen to put their faith in learned men, whether they realize this or not. That's your religion.
I can picture myself sitting around my campfire in my backyard with a bunch of kids around there and then saying to me, Uncle Kirk, tell us a ghost story. Tell us a scary story. And there's something about those kinds of things where people love to be scared, as you said earlier. Does the Bible speak about ghosts, per se?
I do not believe, and I know there are Christians who do, that people die and remain behind and haunt.
Yeah, like a haunted house, right? Like there's the grandma who's still somehow watching from between the boards and the walls.
Yeah, and in fact, I think that when people walk around and sort of think that it actually conceals the real issue that's going on. I mean, when you talk about Ouija boards and all these other tools that people try to use to communicate with the dead, they really believe they're communicating with the dead. When you dive into that, what a lot of experts will tell you is, no, you're actually communicating with the demonic. You're communicating with the spiritual realm that wants you to believe that. Now, I get into that in the book because that was very interesting to me to sort of hear about the deception that some of these people have encountered in the work they've done as faith leaders, sort of seeing that play out. But my belief had always been, no, that's not the case. And when you look at scripture, because that needs to be our barometer, right? We need to go back to the Bible. There are some interesting examples of things happening in the Bible, but there aren't examples of people dying and remaining back to haunt. You have, Saul in the Old Testament summoning Samuel, going to the medium and basically saying, look, I need you to bring him to me. And you have that happen, but that's an interesting event because it's clear that God allowed that to happen. It doesn't seem to be an event of somebody remaining behind it all and haunting. It's a vision or an appearance of Samuel. So I wouldn't count that. You have the really interesting, and I've heard it described as a zombie-like event, which I don't know if that's the best descriptor, but I had missed this. But after Jesus, dies on the cross, and after his death, you have all these people coming out of their tombs and going into Jerusalem and witnessing and talking to people. But that's not haunting. It's a really fascinating event. So you don't have, the short answer is we don't have any scriptural evidence of hauntings the way the world would.
The job of this branch of the Luciferian power structure, called the Catholic Church, is to drive you away from the Most High God in reality. Through this institution, the Luciferian elite purposefully and gradually exposed its sinful practices that seem to spiritually serve as modernized pagan sacrifices, primarily performed by way of the victimization of its children. But this sacrifice is also made by way of the effeminization of its men, the subjugation of its women, and its gross materialism, as well as through its historical colonialism, just to name a few of its intentionally exposed corruptions. These well-publicized corruptions are not exposed because of some upstanding standard of right and wrong held by the media. The church is exposed in order to give people a plausible deniability and as an excuse to be anti-Christian, or at the very least, Crowleyan. It gives the worldly an excuse to do as they want. As an entity, the Catholic Church and the Vatican are, sadly, what most folks today think of as the church, even though it does many things that directly contradict the very book that it claims to go by. This is more than merely hypocriticism. This is the devil drawing the largest crowd of would-be saints into an organization that he has significant control over, and then taking advantage of their lack of knowledge and fleshly dependence. Every human who follows a discipline of any kind will find themselves struggling at some time against that very discipline, which would, at this time, make them appear to be hypocrites to any observer. It is the nature of humans to err and to battle with the desires of their carnal self, whether atheist, Pan-African, New Age, Rastafarian, Buddhist, Hindu, Hebrew, Muslim, or Christian. The Luciferian agenda makes us believe that the Christian is the problem. Satanists do not spend time destroying the faith of any of the other spiritual disciplines that folks have the freedom to choose. Think about that. This is not a Christian world, according to what the book that dictates the do's and don'ts of that spiritual discipline which people have a right to choose actually says. Folks who deny its value also turn right around and purposefully misinterpret certain verses to then prove a point. I used to do that, until the veil was lifted from my eyes and I eventually saw the Luciferian double cross for what it was. The "ye are gods" verse that people who do not understand, study, or believe the Bible just love to quote is always the most misinterpreted. They leave out, "But you shall die like men," and they leave out who the verse was addressing. Why? Because they want to pull the youngest into the oldest lie, that you are your own God. But if you die like men and do everything else imperfect as men, humans, do, then what makes you godlike? Godlike power can snap its fingers and have all bills paid and problems solved. None of us are that if we're going to be real with ourselves. The I am God deception is a trick to ease you over into the Luciferian mindset of do as thou wilt, because of course, gods do not follow rules, moral cues, or societal norms. The truth is that what the Bible describes is not what you see people exhibit, which is their fault as teachers and leaders, and not your fault as a student. The woman is a one of one. She was the first targeted victim of the Luciferian. She was created to avoid the fights that her mate had to fight, and his work was one way of establishing that he was worthy of earning the gift of her companionship. He was to protect her, as his naturally given physicality suggests. If I were a betting man, I would surmise he's a closeted or an ex-Nuwaupian. A Nuwaupian is a student of convicted black supremacist, anti-Christian cult leader Dr. Malachi Z. York. I used to be a student of the scrolls too, before I had an experience that led me to know that the Bible is true. So, if not for the grace of God, there go I. And I really don't want to dislike the guy. In some ways we identify. But what I do not like is that he hides the obvious fact that he combines the knowledge of Dr. York's limited, twisted, half-true information about ancient civilizations, Sumer in particular, and blends it with the Theosophical Society's anti-Christian knowledge of Freemasonry, which Dr. York also propagated. I would note how he's sent to specifically attack the Christian faith, and to no lesser a degree, he seems hell-sent to specifically steer my community further into materialism, narcissism, and ultimately Luciferian Babylon Mystery System fraternalism, aka further spiritual bondage. Dr. York played a slick little trick. He was sent to the ghettos and inner cities of the wilderness of North America. He set up a community in New York City's Bushwick area. He seemed down to earth, and relatable even. He was unlike other religious charlatans and grifters of his time, in that he drew you in with occult secrets, hidden truths, and esoterica that tickled your ears and sparked your imagination. He dazzled our minds with secrets of the ancients that were seldom even whispered within the walls of a house in the ghetto. He drew the people who were considered to be the most wary and leery even nearer to reaching a dangerous level of comfortability with the occult. He neglected to tell us that he was just spitting most of Madame Blavatsky's theosophical Freemasonic information. Then, when some of the brightest bulbs in the lamp started to catch on and questioned, why would he teach us that the scriptures say, "Take no oath," and Freemasonry is Luciferian, when all the while he himself was a high-ranking member of the Freemasonic Lodge? No matter what you think you know about the intentions of the world's largest brotherhood, you would have to be foolish not to recognize that this is deceitful. It gets even more disingenuous when you think about how this man is using the knowledge that he got from this group and their teachings to lead millions into a place called Gnosticism, a gateway to Luciferianism. So the knowledge that he had was not because he had some special genetically, spiritually, or otherwise divinely given connection. It wasn't because he was book smart, well read, or well educated in a royal palace in the Sudan. He was sharing what he was ordered to share with us by the bosses of the Brotherhood that sent him to us, nothing more. Now, I have never been a betting man, per se, but I see that Mr. Carson is doing a similar two-step, but with a much more digestible presentation, tailor-made for the spiritually void generation at hand. For now, that's all I have to say about that. King Jesus, the Christ, is Lord and Savior, forever and ever.
Shut up and start talking.
From Sandy Creek Park in Athens, Georgia, and we have with us the Imperial Grand Potentate himself, Dr. Malachi Z. York, the man that has made it possible for the No-waun nation to be established throughout the world. He has touched many hearts and has opened many minds to the truth. So without further ado, here's Dr. Malachi Z. York. Just a few questions, sure. And first of all to say thank you for making it possible for me to be here and to know as much as I do know at this time.
You're doing my job.
All right, I want to say congratulations on your new title as Imperial Grand Potentate. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me what it means to us as No-waun people?
I wouldn't say it means anything as to No-waun people per se, but in the Masonic world, after you finish traveling, if you make the decision that you want to go over into the shrine and cross that desert, then you do that. If you want to stay there and climb higher and higher, then you'll take on different titles, you know, depending on what you do for the shrine. And the people I'm more concerned with the Afro Masonic lodges and Afro shrine, because there is a split in Freemasonry between the whites and the blacks. And have the whites have blacks pledging to them, when in actuality the first Freemason was Nimrod, son of Cush, Ethiopian, and they should be getting their charters from us. So I'm barely here to set the record straight. And I think it's time for Freemasons, I think it's time for us to come forward, because we're getting a bad name because of things that Caucasian Masons are doing, like Albert Pike and Albert Mackey and them, with their books Moral Dogma, where they give praise to Lucifer. And now Freemasons worldwide, they're being thought of as Satanic and all that. And I think it's time for us to step up and let people know what we're allowed to let them know about our fraternity, right? But to set the record straight. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. How do you think the rest of the world views us with your new title as well?
Well, I think that, first of all, it smashes the cult concept. As Freemasons and Shriners, we were trying not to make that public. But because we kept getting slapped in the face with cult this, cult that, cult that, then we had to say, as you can see, it says No-waun Grand Lodge. It's not just a chapter, it's a Grand Lodge, right? And our temples are going to spread across the country. And so it's now, in other words, time for us to come forward and let people know that the slander that they keep saying is a cult, is a cult, that unless all Freemasons worldwide are a cult, then we're not a cult.
Can you tell me what's the difference between a Grand Lodge and a chapter?
Yeah, a Grand Lodge is more like saying a Mother or Father Lodge. And beneath it, you can have different chapters or different, they have numbers, literally. You know what I'm saying? And these numbers will designate a certain, have a name, over like the Amos Lodge in Macon, Georgia, or the Enoch Lodge in New York, or the King Solomon Lodge, etc. But they'll have a Grand Lodge above that, which issues charters to subsidiaries.
Black people seem a bit concerned about the election of President Bush, and how do you think this will affect black people in general?
Frankly speaking, I think President Bush is a good president. I'm not saying that I didn't like Clinton. I like Clinton because he was a black president, you know, not the first, but one of the first black presidents. But I like the way Bush did. I've always been a Republican, and that's difficult when I socialize with most Democrats. And so I think what President Bush is doing, the way he's handling himself, and the way he's even doing foreign affairs. I don't know about the economics yet because it's taking a little time for us to get, you know, adjusted to the seats. But I think he's a good president. I think he's going to prove himself to be a good president.
So we don't really have much to worry about.
No, we don't have nothing to worry about regards to who's in office because, you know, a bird with a right wing or left wing is still on the same bird. So until we are in, we're not in. If all racism is going on, you see what's going on in Cincinnati.
Absolutely. That was my next question, actually. What's happening in Cincinnati? Do you think the racist behavior of the people in Putnam County, Howard Sills, and all his cahoots, do you think that kind of thing could erupt in Eatonton?
Yeah, I do think it can erupt in Eatonton. I think Howard Sills would like that.
Group tries to claim it has a secret membership among white officers. Such infiltration was once common in many police forces around the country.
A lot of my members are wearing badges today, and I know they have an itchy trigger finger. They're praying to God something happens here today because they want to take out a police.
And discrimination leveled at them by the Planning and Zoning Board, the Board of Commissioners, County Attorney Dorothy Adams, and husband Frank Ford, the Eatonton Police Department, and other officials. The Nuwaubians have risen to the challenge and are beating the racists at their own game. By taking the battle from the good old boy kangaroo-style court of the Okomoji Judicial Circuit, where grandma is the judge, father is the attorney, the uncle is the sheriff, his son is the police chief, and cousin Bob is head of planning and zoning, to the higher court system with hopes of getting some justice.
Shout out to Dr. York, you know what I mean, doing 135 years right now. Hope you.
Like Dr. Malachi York, cause I talk like Dr. Malachi York, cause I talk like Dr. Malachi York. Play the sidewalk, hold.
Let me tell you something. Not only will they persecute you, they'll lie on you. They'll fabricate lies. They'll imprison you and create cases around you. The same way they tried to defame the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then they tried to defame Malcolm X, and then they even tried to defame Dr. Martin Luther King by some secretary. That's what they'll do. They'll imprison you, and then they'll create lies to turn your own people against you. They'll persecute you after righteous name's sake. The same way I'm talking to you, they're going to come after me eventually. Believe me, they're going to say, that man is too dangerous. I don't like him. Let's make some lies up on him. Let's turn his people against him. Let's imprison him. And if we can, let's kill him because his people won't help him anyway.
Like the great Dr. Malachi York was, cause I talk like Dr. Malachi York.
The name was Dr. Malachi York, consulted by the son of Malachi York.
70 miles southeast of Atlanta, Eatonton is the seat of Putnam County, best known as the dairy capital of Georgia.
Oh, they got 400 and something acres. Goes up to that corner, young.
William Larman is a dairyman, and he's talking about his new neighbors.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy for them.
But they are not dairymen.
Because they said they come from what? Rich. Planet Rich, I think.
It is not a joke to the people who've built these two large pyramids and elaborate Egyptian-style ornamentation and put up rows of double-wide homes on some 400 acres of rural Putnam County farmland and woodland.
How many people live here?
Got different families living.
It's a place that granted our request for a visit inside the secured gate, allowed us to watch the workers build new ceremonial structures, allowed us to listen close up to the continuous chant broadcast from a speaker bank at the top of one of the pyramids.
For people that want to get spiritually in tune with the you know,
but for the most part, sidestepped our requests for answers. What about the guy from another planet?
Make sure you get all the newspapers.
Are they occult?
Depends on definition of occult. Certainly there are many characteristics similar with other entities that are defined as cults.
How long you lived here?
About 6-7 months.
Jerry, our tour guide, says he came here from Alabama. The sheriff says most of the other residents come from the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore. How many, including how many children, is unclear. He's unknown?
He's known by many names.
The group's leader is identified in literature as Malachi Zodok York, the Supreme Grand Master. He is described as a charismatic speaker and apparently a prolific writer, producing monthly newsletters and dozens of books. He says that he is from the 8th planet in the 19th galaxy of New+world+order, a universe far outside of this one. Does it make sense to you?
That's in the book. If he wrote it, then yeah. We're from Orion. Dr. York is from Risk. He's from Orion. What's the deal? It's nothing strange. It's just new to the public.
The vast majority of cults are started by an individual who's extremely charismatic, who's very confident, very commanding, in some cases very demanding, expects an awful lot of the followers.
So this is the Compound nightclub?
No, it's not a compound.
Oh, it's not a compound? I'm sorry.
Not at all.
The centerpiece of the Putnam County property is a nightclub the group opened in October. At midday, it was in high decibel preparation for an upcoming party. Outside, there were parked 3 stretch limousines.
Oh, it's an Egyptian theme park.
This is a theme park?
An Egyptian theme park.
Now, there's some people that think this is a cult.
Well, there's 2 ways to look at it. We don't happen to have a religious belief. You follow what I'm saying? Now, on the other hand, culture, there's a connection there. So if you say we're a cult in the sense of we found a culture that works for us, yeah.
Are they dangerous?
I have no information to indicate that they are dangerous.
What they are is a roadside curiosity to native Putnam Countyans, and to the folks inside the gate, a community with children and entertainment, and an Egyptian theme, and a leader they call Grandmaster, who writes that he's from another planet.
Maybe the spaceship come in here and I could get away with him.
You see all that we're building out there?
Yeah.
Does it look like we're going anywhere soon to you? We build it. It's so beautiful out there. It's a beautiful, peaceful environment where we invite any nationality, any race to come out and visit.
Hi, I am Jimmy Cliff, singer-songwriter, actor, and poet, born on the island of Jamaica. I've been honored by my country with one of the highest honor that they give to a living person, and that is OM, which stands for Order of Merit in Jamaica. Among other honors. Well, I'm taking this time out to say something about Dr. Malachi Z. York, a very inspiring, influential, and uplifting person.
I found out that this man, who was Dr. Malachi York, had been arrested with allegations of child molestation.
The lawyers are working together, the building inspectors working together, everybody's all teamed up in a little KKK clique down there.
During the time of the Dr. York, you was involved in that situation. You was a student.
Yeah.
What came to your mind when you found out about the charges that was brought upon it? Because I know you was probably one of the students at that time.
I had left Atlanta.
Usually that understanding.
I helped run. I helped run up one of the stores. So again, like I wasn't.
Bitch in the music.
This is a Holy Tabernacle tattoo. Now I never heard 25 years old. Right. So just for people that say like, because you know people like to inflate that everybody in jail was a kingpin. Nobody was on the corner, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just saying like I wasn't a disciple, but I wasn't a casual. You know what I mean? So I ran MLK bookstore. There's 2 MLK bookstores. I helped run along with a bunch of folk ran MLK bookstore. The one off Ashby, the one right across the street from Philly's Finest Barbershop. And then I ended up helping start another one. I studied at Edgewood, the store that was on Edgewood Avenue. Before I got there, I was in Philly with Sajad at 52nd and Thompson Street. I used to go to the masjid there when Musa was there as the imam. So just the context. When I left, I had suspicions. I had seen things with my own eyes. So again, I know the latter-day people. I've seen these dudes on the internet. Half of them look white to me, but I see these dudes on the internet talking about it's not true. They got proof. They got evidence. You can't prove something didn't happen to people who were there. I was a teenager. I moved in as a teenager. You know what I mean? I was an older teenager, but I was a teenager. I wasn't like 13, which would have probably put me in harm's way, quite honestly. Actually, let me not say that, because it seemed to me that he progressed. His pathology progressed over time. Anyway, but I'll say this to answer your question, Sanetta. When I found out, I wasn't a little bit shocked. I was not a little bit shocked. I remember being on the land that they called, we called it Kadesh. It eventually became called Wahani, and then it became called Tamaray. Yeah. But again, the latter-day Nuwaubians don't even know we called it. When it started, it was called Kadesh. In fact, I was the driver I was Dr. York's. I was the chauffeur, not of Dr. York, but of all the people going from Atlanta to the land. So I would drive back from Atlanta, from West End to Eatonton, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Which anybody knows it's like driving from Philly to New York 3 times a day. Wow. Right. Not quite that long, but the same mileage. Anyway, and I remember the last time I was on the land, I had stayed up there for a few days. I was staying up there in one of the trailers. One of the rappers from the Grave Diggers was there. He eventually died. And I remember walking into Club Ramesses, which was a club he had built up there. And I remember walking in, and I wasn't supposed to walk in apparently, but they told me I was going for a walk. But I walked in, and there were kids there. Some had skates on, because they were kind of skating around Ramesses. The kids were like, 2 were like sitting on his lap. I'll say this: as soon as I opened the door, somebody said, "You can't be in here," and I turned around and left. It was one of them "don't be in here" like on some like. I know it's like
felt really uncomfortable, is what you're saying.
It was an energy thing too. Right. I had already heard things and seen things, but my understanding at that moment was that it was with other people's wives, other people's maybe young teenage girls. I knew that's a fact.
Now, was you in there by yourself, or you was in there with family, other members?
No, I was solo. Oh, I was solo. Okay. I was solo, and I had worked my way kind of up the not the ranks, but I was definitely trying. The goal of anybody who lived in Georgia was to move to the land. That was, you wanted to live in that barn. You wanted to give up all your shit and go to the barn. That was the goal. It was just crazy but that was the goal. That was part of the issue, right? Because when when I left Philly, partly because of what I saw, other people were like, "Yo, this stuff is plagiarized," and they started showing me the places it was taken from. Yeah, we started putting pieces together.
So let me ask you. So when you see him in court and he accept the charges, brother, he admit to the charges. How does one man? What, he got 100 and how many years?
Yeah, he don't get up to 21.
How do you cop out or say yes, I'm guilty of 121 years? That's like you might as well go to trial.
No, in fairness, he copped out when he was pleading. When he's pleading, he was
pleading what?
He was pleading for the 30 or whatever whatever. He played out the judge and accept the plea. Okay. And so then he withdrew his confession. And so, you know what? I actually didn't do that. I don't know anybody who pleads out to molesting kids. Yeah. Or, because they're going to get the technicality thing, it actually wasn't a molestation charge, it was a federal charge of interstate trafficking. Interstate trafficking. But that's a technicality because they didn't have a federal molestation charge. It's for this law.
That's what it's used for.
That's what it's used for. Yeah. It's exactly what it's used for. But, yeah. He did it because he wanted to come home again. And he knew it was the best bet to come home.
At some point.
I know enough to know what I don't know. I don't have, because fundamentally that tradition believes to engage them, you have to engage them at the level of Scripture. If I approach that text as myth and say that I can't, if we're not appealing to the same thing to adjudicate a difference, then it ain't going to work. If I say, well, because people are like, well, it says that right there in Leviticus. And I'm like, well, okay. Cool, it says it right here on my iPhone, right? We go right. And I can point to traditions that precede the Christian tradition or precede this particular iteration of a Judaic tradition or Hebrew tradition that we see all the way back to ancient Kemet, right? I can see these narratives reemerging, be rearticulated, be reshaped, and say, for that reason, this ain't real.
Everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. Let's take a look at a video.
One of the earliest versions is the Ethiopian Bible and the Sinai Bible.
All right, let's see it.
So the earliest version of the Bible, or one of the earliest, is in Ethiopia. What are the differences between that Bible and, let's say, like the King James?
Okay, there are a couple things. So first, the Old Testament is the Torah from the Ethiopian Torah.
Wait, the oldest Torah we have is also Ethiopian?
Yeah.
This is not anywhere close to being true. Our earliest manuscripts of the Pentateuch, the Torah, written in Ge'ez, are medieval in origin and late medieval. We have the Garima Gospels from between the 4th and 7th centuries CE, 2 or 3 manuscripts of the 4 Gospels. But when it comes to manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible, they don't come until many centuries after that. Although this manuscript tradition dates very early, probably early to mid-4th century CE. You had Syrian missionaries bringing editions of the Septuagint, which included the Hebrew Bible, the texts of the Apocrypha and other pseudepigrapha, and the New Testament down to the kingdom of Aksum, and then the tradition developed from there.
Okay, so oldest version of Old Testament, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Oldest version of New Testament, either Sinai or Ethiopia.
So this is closer to being accurate, but it's still not accurate. The oldest manuscripts of New Testament texts in Ge'ez are the Garima Gospels, Garima 1 and Garima 2, and these just have the 4 Gospels, not the whole New Testament. Garima 2 is the earliest of these, which dates to between like 390 CE and maybe 566 CE. I think those are the dates that carbon dating returned. And so we do have probably earlier texts than that in Sinaiticus and Vaticanus. And those contain the majority of the New Testament, the entire New Testament as the scribes considered it at the time. So like Vaticanus doesn't include the pastoral epistles, probably because they did not think that they were canonical. But it has the rest of the New Testament and all 4 Gospels. Those would be the earliest manuscripts of the whole New Testament as it existed in the 4th century CE.
What are the differences we see in these and then the newer versions of the text?
Well, what's interesting is the text, there's less mistranslations.
Less mistranslations, got it.
In the Ethiopian Bible and the Sinai Bible, there's about 12 to 14,000 differences than the more modernized King James Version.
So just to be clear, Billy Carson does not know Hebrew, does not know Greek, does not know Latin, does not know Ge'ez, doesn't know anything about translation, has nothing to contribute here. So instead, he's going to make claims that have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the Garima Gospels or Codex Sinaiticus.
And what are the differences?
Well, for example, Moses never crossed the Red Sea. He crossed the Sea of Reeds, which is a closer, much smaller, and easier sea to cross.
So two things here. First, this is a pretty pedestrian observation. People have long known that the Hebrew phrase Yam Suf means Sea of Reeds. We call that sea the Red Sea in most languages today, and that's because in the 3rd century BCE, when the Hebrew Bible was translated into ancient Greek, when we got the Septuagint, they rendered Yam Suf in Greek as Erythra Thalassa, which means Red Sea. We're not sure exactly why. Some scholars think that colors were used for cardinal directions, so it would be the South Sea, because for whatever reason red was associated with the South. That could be it, but because of that translation, the same sea has been referred to as the Red Sea in most languages ever since. So they're not different seas, and this isn't really a significant observation. But additionally, this has absolutely nothing to do with different readings in the Garima Gospels or in the Septuagint. The Septuagint is responsible for the change to the designation Red Sea, and the Garima Gospels are based on Septuagint manuscripts that were brought down to the kingdom of Aksum in the early 4th century CE. So Carson is not actually identifying a difference. He was asked for differences, and he's just sharing factoids that he thinks are cool, without knowing if they have anything whatsoever to do with any of these manuscripts.
Also, another mistranslation is the God. God is not supposed to be singular in the Bible. It's plural in all cases. Gods with an S.
This is laughably false, and anyone with a single semester of training in biblical Hebrew would see right through this as a ridiculous falsehood. Not only is it laughably false, it's also something that is not supported by anything in the Septuagint or in any Ethiopian biblical manuscript. Again, this is just a cool factoid that Carson repeatedly shares on social media without being able to connect it in any way, shape, or form to any of these manuscripts that he's being asked about.
But I just want to learn some more about these differences in the Bible.
This interviewer keeps trying to bring it back to what's actually in these manuscripts, and Carson has shared literally nothing from these manuscripts. He's just using this as an opportunity to hawk his conspiracy theories, which are pure and utter nonsense.
I'll give you one big translation that's off, is they say, well, Jesus was crucified.
Whoa.
Well, that doesn't exist in the Sinai Bible.
What happened?
It doesn't exist in the book of Barnabas.
So once again, Carson puts on display his abject and complete ignorance of these manuscripts. Codex Sinaiticus has the normal gospel text with the normal references to the crucifixion. Now, Codex Sinaiticus also has a New Testament apocryphal text known as the Epistle of Barnabas, which is not included in the canon anymore, but was considered authoritative for a lot of early Christians. Now, Carson refers to the book of Barnabas as not having references to the resurrection. That is not a reference to the Epistle of Barnabas, which is in Codex Sinaiticus. That is a reference to the Gospel of Barnabas, which was composed in the Middle Ages and denies that Jesus was crucified. It has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Sinaiticus. Carson just does not have the first clue what he's talking about.
So how did they kill him?
They didn't kill him. In Harvard Library, there is a book of Jesus' wife at the Harvard Seminary School. And they found that about 8 years ago.
So there is no such book. This is actually a reference to a little scrap of papyrus that you can see here that was originally thought to be a part of a 3rd or 4th century CE, probably Gnostic gospel that refers to Jesus' wife, but turned out to be a forgery.
gang, because, you know, my name Glow. You know, I fuck with Chief Keef. I'm a big fan of Chief Keef.
Now spread out.
Yeah. And you old rip bastard.
Brace yourself for immediate disintegration. I'll laugh this off.
And you old decrepit bastard.
Now you give him everything you want, you understand? Okay. Hello. You've arrived here at a critical moment. So much the better. Peace and tranquility don't have any use, master.
This just say faith. This one I got in the trenches. Oh my God, the most ghettoest apartments in Memphis you could ever go to. It ain't that bad though. I just wanted a butterfly on my thing, you know, just some creep shit. This one, it says in Chinese that you gonna be a star. A friend in 2020, he had died. Anytime he came around me, he used to be like, yo, music's so hard, like you gonna be a superstar, like. And this was back in 2020 when I still had my baby voice. And so I had got that tatted. And now that I'm a star, I hope he see it. This says hallelujah in Arabic. This is my birth year, 1999. They can see it. This one is an AK-47. Both of these are red because I just like the color red. This one is my birth year too. It's 7/28/1999.
I worship you. I worship you. And nobody else. I pledge my love to you
machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences at the drop of an eye. Yeah, that reminds me of the time I had a manager once who said to me, you know, you're worth more money dead than alive.
Before I blew up, I had went on a 60-day cleanse. And it was like right at the end of that 60-day cleanse, I blew up. This was 2022. It started March the 1st, and then it was supposed to end it May the 1st. It started March the 1st, and then it was supposed to end it May the 1st. It started March the 1st, and then it was supposed to end it May the 1st. And so I made free April the 21st, and I dropped it April 29th. And then by May, I was blown up. So I was like, okay, something worked. Because the 60 days over, and now I went from this to
watch the show. After, yeah, they got. I didn't watch the show. I was like, fuck.
They got the Oscar. That's
yes.
What level y'all was at?
No. That was a level where, first of all, it wasn't even nothing personal. I left the group when I was 21 years old. I was 21.
You was a baby still.
I was 21 years old, and they were my manager, my producers, my label.
They being Juicy J.
Oh yeah,
Paul.
Yeah, everything. You know what I'm saying? And also I was. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna shit my post on like when the Beyonce fan is only on stage, not for drink champs. Okay, but yeah, it was like you know, I was just young, dude, and I was on a spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I thought it was religion. You know what I'm saying? But I left the group when I was like 21 years old, like to go on a spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? And I did a lot of retreats and stuff. Read a lot of books.
What kind of retreats?
Christian retreats.
You found religion?
Huh?
You found religion?
You said what, baby?
You found religion?
Well, you know, I'm from the Bible Belt, so I was baptized when I was a youngin'. You know, born Christian. You know, Christian. You know, I found spirituality, but I just real.
I remember this now. Now that you're saying it was
Gangsta Buddha. This is my win gospel.
Yeah, got that part. They use
you know,
was a Christian rapper.
Yeah. But think about it, that shit hindsight 2020. It was before him.
Yeah. Right.
But the thing is when you look back at it, it's like I was 21 years old. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm who I am now at this age, anyway, man, when I left the group, I was on a journey, a spiritual retreat and all that stuff. But fast forward to that, when they won an Oscar, no, I didn't take it personal. It was just that I wasn't there, and I used to be like, damn, I left like fucking right too soon. You know, they got an Oscar for It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp.
Yeah.
The most ghetto
for Hustle and Flow, a movie.
Yeah, and that's my friend who wrote directed the movie, Craig Brewer. He's from Memphis. It's a lot of talent in Memphis. But yeah, so no, I left the group just on my own path. But hindsight 2020, I was young and just didn't know about business or shit, bro. I didn't know shit. I was bumping like a motherfucker, doing my thing, but I didn't know nothing but besides I could rap. That's all I knew.
But what made you feel you needed to go that spiritual route? Like what was it something that happened?
Yes, I'm chosen. I know I'm just a chosen individual. Like I'm smart, like I'm spiritual. Right now, you know, well, just in general, like I'm just.
Because I heard you refer to the industry as wicked. Did you feel like you needed to go into another space?
He said he didn't use the word wicked, but he said it was, you know.
I heard one of y'all said.
Well, how about this? I feel like the world is a wicked, you know, it's good and bad. It's wicked ways. You know, I have wicked ways. Man, I fucking send 1,000 texts to my dude if he might do something wrong. I wake up, look at that shit like, damn, girl, you psychos. Brutal in the text messages. And one reason he is my dog because he don't care much like that. But no, because I want to stay on the page.
did something drive you in that direction?
Depression.
Okay.
But I was 21, so at that time, to be honest.
How can you be depressed at the top of the world?
I mean, think about how much at that age what she was dealing with.
But also the lack of knowledge, though. I didn't know how to handle shit. You know what I'm saying? I was taking X pills, like having fun. Like, you know, all this shit, man. Motherfuckers can talk about how they lit and turned up on all this shit. If you can't balance that shit out and know how to balance that shit out, it's a chemical fucking imbalance. Come on, you kidding me? People can take all these prescription medications, but guess what? If you listen to that motherfucker talking fast at the end of the commercial, what they gonna be saying? A bunch of shit. All the side effects. So maybe some off the market shit that we buy and put in our system. So yeah, I felt depressed, but I also always felt chosen, just in general. And so what's understood sometimes can't be explained, especially when it comes to like spirituality. So anyway, I just decided to leave the group. I don't know why. We were supposed to do Jenny Jones, and I didn't show up. It was for my album actually. But so when I left at that young age, when all the success was happening after me, because we were successful in general.
Right.
But as I think back, it was like. We was just popular as fuck. Them niggas got famous.
Right.
So I didn't see the bitches in Hollywood. Yeah, because I was just in my own mental space, and I had felt I was wronged a few times. Well, a lot of times.
Is Gangsta Boo getting married?
You know what?
Gangsta Boo got a boo.
Gangsta Boo got a bunch of boo things. Now, don't get it twisted. Boo things. No, boo things are my fans. I call my fans boo things. Boo gang, boo things.
I wouldn't be able to deal with that. If I was your man, you'd call everybody boo things.
Well, that's on you. Yeah. That's on you. What's your sign, friend?
I'm Virgo.
Yeah, he a Virgo. You September what?
6.
He the 18th. Y'all Virgos. Like, y'all sneaky. Y'all
hey, man, Beyonce a Virgo.
Oh, shit, I'm Beehive. Okay.
Hey, man, Beyonce a Virgo.
Oh, shit, I'm Beehive. Okay.
Yeah, you Beehive.
Yeah, I got a big one from God. I got a big But no, boo things.
Yo Gotti or Moneybag Yo? That's the same team for real.
I fuck with Gotti.
Gotti the boy.
I fuck with Gotti.
He just found a new girl?
Yeah, I know Glow.
That's her name, Glow?
Yeah, Glow. Her name Glorilla. Okay. Yep. QC just signed her best friend named Glitter Gloss.
Wow.
And I've been watching them girls for the past couple years, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know, it just made me feel good because they wasn't whack. They represented Memphis right. And it's only been me and Chat that came out of Memphis. You know, like New York is what? It was only Lil' Kim and Foxy forever. And I mean, it was us, you know, like, really, you know, but you know what I'm saying? Memphis, it was only me and Chat. I mean, besides K. Michelle and Jessica Dime, shout out to Jessica Dime, other like Juicy Fruit. But as far as like, I just seen them, I don't know, I was just like, yo, these hoes about to make it. And I was just impressed. So yeah, a year later, Glorilla got signed. I got a little distracted because I was not distracted, but I was just thinking about her glow up. And I'm proud of her. She's like a young girl, like she's like 19. Like, yeah.
We're covering breaking news right now. We just got the autopsy report for Memphis rapper Gangsta Boo. You might remember the artist, whose real name is Lola Mitchell, died suddenly on New Year's Day at a home in Whitehaven. The medical examiner has ruled her death an accidental overdose. The report shows the cause of death as drug toxicity, a combination of alcohol, cocaine, and a type of fentanyl. Gangsta Boo was 43 years old.
Remember how I said to keep two things in mind when going through these tapes, which were the Four Corners and the Memphis Pyramid? We'll start with the Four Corners first. The Four Corners was a location that was a regular name drop by Tommy Wright III, and many of the tracks that he either produced or appeared on, most notably naming the previously mentioned Four Corners Part 3. I'll just let this anonymous 4chan poster explain his theory on the whole thing. I should probably add about Tommy Wright and the Four Corners. And many of Tommy's tracks or tracks he's produced, he has references to the Four Corners. In interviews, he stated that the Four Corners was a place which he and his friends hung out at. It was somewhere in Whitehaven, Memphis.
Mitchell died suddenly on New Year's Day at a home in Whitehaven.
Mitchell died suddenly on New Year's Day at a home in Whitehaven.
While Atlanta is generally credited as the birthplace of modern trap, many fans are unaware of a scene predating Atlanta's that went on to influence the sound of hip-hop today.
North, Memphis, South, Memphis, West, Wood, Orange Mound, 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 North, Memphis, South, Memphis, West, Wood, Orange Mound.
Memphis sound. That's really what influenced my sound.
A lot of the hip hop you hear today and shit like that was influenced by motherfucking old Memphis rappers and shit.
When I was hustling, I always was playing Memphis rappers. I felt like they had such an underground scene, and that's what I gravitated to. Like the most ghetto music is what I want to hear.
While I've never been to Memphis, the city famous for its barbecues, clean drinking water, and oddly shaped buildings intrigues me deeply. Not only is Memphis the birthplace of rock and roll and home of blues, it is also mentioned in songs more than any other city in the world. While Memphis may be fascinating to outsiders like myself, the city is incredibly violent, with one of the highest rates of crime in the US. This is reflected in the themes and lyrics of Memphis rap, aka Memphis horrorcore, a unique sound that emerged from the city during the mid-90s. The sound is characterized by its dark atmosphere, lo-fi production, triplet flow, repetitive hooks, and dreamy sound. Notable artists include 666 Mafia, Tommy Wright III, DJ Squeaky, Gangsta Pat, Kingpin Skinny Pimp, DJ Zerk, Al Capone, and many more. Memphis rap history wouldn't be complete without mentioning Number One Suspect by Gangsta Pat, the first major label release coming from the city. In the same year, 8ball and MJG made their debut with their underground album Listen to the Lyrics, which was followed up in 1993 with Coming Out Hard, a highly regarded and influential Memphis classic, also sampled by 3 6. Unfortunately, Memphis rap history is an extremely complex topic. Luckily, L Dialogue, a rapper from Memphis, created a song titled The Unofficial Story of Memphis Rap, which goes into great detail about the roots of the sound.
Probably comes to our minds when we think of the concept of horror is mostly that of imagery and storytelling presented to us through the medium of movies, TV shows, literature, photography, art, and even video games. But rarely does music come up in this discussion of horror. When music is discussed when talking about horror, it's usually in regards to a soundtrack for a movie or video game. But rarely does a particular genre outside of a soundtrack get discussed when talking about horror in music. And if there's any genre of music that doesn't get this attention, it's certainly that of hip-hop. On a historical and superficial level at least. Hip-hop is by far the most disturbing genre of music out there, with some of the most popular and influential works being about violence and murder. In the mid-1980s, rappers and rap groups like NWA, the 2 Live Crew, and Ice-T literally shocked the nation to its core with the level of violence and profanity that appeared in their work, with these same themes being present in modern-day hip-hop. Of course, this doesn't mean that all hip-hop is like this, and viewing all hip-hop in this manner is quite stereotypical and a rather ignorant way of viewing an entire genre of music in general, but for a while this was what most people thought when viewing hip-hop as a whole. Hip-hop comes from many places in the world, but in the 90s, the 2 main posers that were duking it out in terms of the status in the genre were of course the East Coast and the West Coast. But while this battle between the 2 was taking up the spotlight, the Dirty South was just chilling in the back and establishing their own styles. But out of the whole South, it was Memphis, Tennessee that would establish the most distinct of these styles, mainly through the use of horror as their primary aesthetics. The use of horror imagery in hip-hop was nothing new at the time, but Memphis would take it to a whole nother level, whether it be a group as well known as the 3-6 Mafia or a producer as obscure as Tommy Wright III. The Memphis hip-hop scene would develop its own aesthetics around the subject of horror in the mid-90s, using primitive music technology paired with dark and disturbing lyrics to create an overall haunting vibe out of what would be banger tracks. The use of cheap drum machines and recording equipment, the repetitive drum loops and poor audio mixing, and the dim and insightful storytelling lends these songs, mixtapes, and albums a special place in hip-hop history. Many of these horror-like imageries that were present in these songs was a direct reflection of the fears and anxieties of youth who lived in Memphis at the time, which in the 90s was one of the biggest murder capitals in the United States. It wasn't until the 2000s when Memphis would truly get the recognition that they deserved in hip-hop, with the previously mentioned 3-6 Mafia becoming the first hip-hop group in history to win an Oscar for Best Original Song. And it wasn't until the 2010s when the concept of horror and hip-hop that were established in 90s Memphis rap were being paid tribute to by the newest of upcoming artists through the exposure of the internet. Many of these rather obscure tracks that were once relegated to personal collections and flea markets were finding new homes on the internet. But out of the literally dozens of 90s Memphis rap tapes out there are 8 of which that have become infamous, and not only those that are interested in Memphis rap, but also those who are concerned with that of the paranormal matter. These 8 tapes are said to be literally cursed, soaked in the blood of those who were demonically sacrificed for the artist's own powers, and that those who listen to these said tapes are also equally as cursed. This is the haunting tale of the Memphis rap sigils. Like many mysteries on the internet, the Memphis rap sigils can be traced all the way back to 4chan. On August 19, 2017, a user on 4chan's X-board would post an iceberg chart listing off general conspiracy theories. And for those unaware of what an iceberg chart is, it's a chart displayed in an image format that hosts interesting facts on a certain subject. And the deeper you go down the iceberg, the facts get more obscure and disturbing. Though this was eventually made popular in 2020, boards like 4chan have been using these types of charts for years, especially when it came to information on the X-board. In fact, this was one of the first so so-called conspiracy charts on the internet as a whole, a type of iceberg chart that has become one of the most popular in terms of its topics and themes. This chart contains your standard conspiracy theories, like Big Pharma, MK Ultra, Pizzagate, 9/11 was an inside job, Flat Earth, chemtrails, Area 51, etc. But there was also some pop culture conspiracy theories thrown into the mix as well, such as OJ covering up for Son, Clinton body double, Stephen King killed John Lennon, Solange equals Beyonce's daughter, Paul is dead, and Gucci Mane clone, my personal favorite. However, close to the bottom of the chart, there's an entry called the Memphis Rap Sigils, which confused many on the forum who wanted clarification on this, such as this user who posted, "Someone help me out with some of these. Memphis Rap Sigils. Big Memphis rap fan, really interested as to what this is." About 10 minutes later, a fellow user responded with the answers. Memphis Rap Sigils, alleged occult connections, involving several influential artists and producers in the 90s Memphis hip-hop scene. Another user responded to this question saying, Memphis Rap Sigils, could only find this, but it barely seems related, and there's always been rumors about Children of the Corn, Criminal Maine, etc. The user then links a 2015 interview podcast by Illuminati author and researcher Isaac Weishaupt, in which the episode he interviews William Ramsey, an expert on the West Memphis 3 murders. The West Memphis 3 is an important part of the story when it comes to the demonic inspiration for not only the Memphis Rap Sigils, but also the horror aesthetics of the Memphis rap scene. So I'll try to summarize it to the best of my ability. The West Memphis 3 refers to 3 teenagers who were suspected of murdering 3 boys in 1993 in West Memphis, Arkansas. These 3 were convicted and sentenced to life until 2007, 10, and ultimately 11, when new DNA evidence was discovered that essentially proved their innocence, with all of them being released in 2011. Anyways, the murders of these 3 boys were highly suspected to be some sort of satanic ritual, especially in the eyes of the media at the time, with Ramsey asserting that there was no question that these murders weren't a satanic ritual, and that these teenagers who were convicted in this crime, specifically that of Damon Eccles, is a murderer and a devil worshipper. However, such opinions seem to have very little backing when compared to the legitimate evidence proving him innocent. The concept of a satanic ritual and or human sacrifice is going to be an apparent theme of not only the Memphis Rap Sigils, but also the overall satanic practices in Memphis rap as a whole. So keep this case in mind for later, as it does come up quite a bit when talking about this.
Due to the evil nature of Memphis lyrics, some critics have argued that artists such as 666 Mafia are devil worshippers or cult members. In fact, conspiracy theories regarding cursed tapes and sigils have surfaced online through forums and image boards such as 4chan's Paranormal Board X. However, the lack of information makes it difficult to research or validate, and remains a mystery. Memphis tapes are always referencing local areas and real events. Their lyrics can often be wacky, bizarre, and otherworldly.
Anyways, as this post on 4chan started to gain traction, so too did the concept of the Memphis Rap Sigils, with this topic being a common occurrence on 4chan's X board, such as this post by a user who clarifies this whole conspiracy, saying, both these tapes, if you can find the originals, have what you're looking for. The idea is sort of that because the artists and producers committed several murders, and the locations where they took place holds a lot of leftover soul energy from the lives that were taken. The lingering energy of known tragedies in the area goes as far back as the history of the United States, with some big Indian massacres, then on to slavery, then Civil War, and then about 100 years more of violence until you get to the 1990s, where Memphis was within the top 5 murder capitals in the country, I believe. Basically, if you believe in the Luciferian idea that it's possible to take a life and manifest that energy into something that becomes real in a sort of ritual, there would be some kind of medium between the spirit world and the world being known to be true. The life energy, the death energy, the demon, and the magnetic taping in a cassette. The 2 links that the user posted were 2 YouTube videos containing songs from the Sigils, one being the song Hellraiser by Maniac, and the other being the Going Undercover mixtape by Lil Ramsey. Anyways, this post in particular was the first time that the overall concept of the Memphis Rap Sigils was explained somewhat in detail, basically explaining that the soul creators of these tapes used the soul energy of their victims and embedded them onto these cassette recordings, in a Luciferian-like ritual. But this of course then raises another question for most people. What is a sigil and how is it created? According to Wikipedia, a sigil refers to a symbolic representation of a practitioner's desired outcome, especially in relation to chaos magic, also referred to as success magic or result-based magic. And if you're still kind of confused on the concept of a sigil, then I would just suggest to think about something like a voodoo doll, for example. I think that's the simplest way of explaining it. Anyway, sigils were mostly popular during the medieval era, with those sigils representing either an angel or a demon, which could be used to ritual summon the particular being through a particular power. Essentially, to create a sigil, you need an everyday physical object/symbol, and a type of power to charge its energy, with one of the most effective sources of power being that of sacrifice, which in this case the artist needed to become rich and famous and shit, which is the motivation behind it, so to say. So there, we basically have a simple recipe on how to create a Memphis Rap Sigil. To quote directly from the X-Files of rap on this topic in particular, the steps go as followed. 1. Murder somebody. 2. Record it. 3. Chop up the audio and sample it. 4. Return to murder scene. 5. Rap with your buddies over the murder beat. 6. Put it on a mixtape. 7. Sigil created. 8. Sell the mixtape. 9. People listen to it. 10. Sigil charged. 11. Blank. 12. Profit. From there, whatever they wish now has enough energy to manifest itself into reality. Essentially, these 8 tapes allegedly contain audio samples of their victims' murders, and or samples from snuff films. And this in turn is what gives the tapes and their creators their powers. If you need an actual real-life example of this sort of sampling practice, in 2016, artist JPEG Mafia released a song called I Just Killed a Cop, Now I'm Horny, in which the beginning of the song samples an actual dashcam recording of a police officer getting killed. Remember how I said to keep 2 things in mind when going through these tapes? Which were the 4 corners and the Memphis Pyramid. We'll start with the 4 corners first. The 4 corners was a location that was a regular name drop by Tommy Wright III, and many of the tracks that he either produced or appeared on, most notably naming the previously mentioned 4 corners part 3. I'll just let this anonymous 4chan poster explain his theory on the whole thing. I should probably add about Tommy Wright and the 4 corners. In many of Tommy's tracks or tracks he's produced, he has references to the 4 corners. In interviews, he stated that the 4 corners was a place which he and his friends hung out at. It was somewhere in Whitehaven, Memphis. When described, the location takes up around 5 blocks, with most of it being suburbs or main streets. I want to take another look at the possible meaning for the 4 corners. A crossroad, for instance, has 4 corners. I've heard some references to this and the West Memphis 3, but that road is a little obvious. I will, however, mention that Tommy's 4 corner references began in 1993, shortly after the West Memphis 3. 4 corners can also be seen in regards to Ezekiel 7:2, which is often used for reference to the hour of doom in the Bible, the coming of the end. Demons like Kalfu or Murmur are also known to travel the crossroads, and offer deals in exchange for worship. Some claim that's whose juice or alcohol was in contact. So we got that concept out of the way, now let's get to the Memphis Pyramid. The structure was originally built in 1991, and was an arena structure that held sporting and entertainment events before closing in 2004. In 2005, Bass Pro Shops bought the venue, and reopened it in 2015 as the Bass Pro Shops Megastore, which included a shopping center, a hotel, restaurants, a bowling alley, and even an archery range. Many say that because the pyramid was built in the 90s Memphis, that it is haunted or has some kind of power, or something like that. The Egyptian symbolism of using a pyramid as the structure also ties into where Memphis, Tennessee got its name from, which was of course derived from the city of Memphis in Egypt. The Egyptian symbolism of the sigils is also said to play a role in the powers that lie within them, and is a constant theme in the conspiracy theories around the sigils. And if I were to get into all the mythology and religion behind it, this video would probably be twice as long. Apparently it has something to do with the creator god Ta or something, but I really don't know. According to this 4chan poster, 3-6 Mafia member Kupsa Kaneka reportedly once said that he ran into a violent cult ritual committed by Memphis elites when he was a teenager, and the black-robed individuals who wielded a metal box containing a crystal skull to the top of the Memphis pyramids in 1991. I tried to find this interview to the best of my ability, but I couldn't find it. But I did find another one very similar to it, which I promise to get to at the end of this video, because to me it's really interesting. Apparently there's some conspiracies also having something to do with giant demons living under the Appalachians, because Memphis is close to them or something. Another theory about these tapes is that they don't work if you play them online, as they only work if you have the original cassette tapes.
There's a magic that happens that we don't know about that happens with tape. Magnetic tape is magnetic, and it's electricity, and it's electricity that reforms the shape of, you know, just it lines all the molecules up to be what they are. But while it's doing all that technical shit, it's also picking up the energy in the room, your vibrations as a human being, how you're feeling, and it attracts itself to the tape as it's going around. So you're recording energy too, in the room. Yeah. You hear me? And if there's a party in the room, it gets on the tape. Yeah. Stains it. Like that carpet I was telling you about earlier.
That baby blue carpet.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. That's what you're missing. Tape, digital doesn't do it. It's just O's and ones. It's just lining up what it hears. Tape, and it also compresses all of the sound, so it gives you the automatic boom bap naturally, because it automatically knocks it back so it could be turned back into an audible sound. Because it's just electricity and magnetism and particles. But when they all line up, it's like the fucking planets lining up. It becomes something like cosmic. It becomes a thing that lasts forever.
I ain't gonna say father. I still want to kill that motherfucker. You know, he beat my mom up every day. You know what I'm saying? He was spillets and pass on spillets, irons and shit. Like, he was a dog, so I went through this shit in 8-9 years. Every day fight, every other day you take money and all this shit and run off and buy this shit and fight with him. You know, I'm fighting grown men, I'm young and shit. His brother, they jumping on mom, I jump in and help her out. They throwing and drop me on my head and shit. Seeing folks get shot while I was young and all kind of shit. All kind of crazy shit, man, you know. Just came a day, I'm talking to her. And next day she was gone. I just didn't get it. I'm just 12 going on 13. I ain't know what was going on. You know, because you're 13, you don't know where you, because he came back to Memphis and this shit happened. I don't know nothing about this city. You know what I'm saying? I know I got family, but they didn't keep me. Everybody else, I think I was the first person going foster. So I just left and ran. So I'm 13, 12, can't get a job. Shit, it's cold outside, raining and shit. So I vowed then. I said, man, fuck dude, because I didn't get it. Everybody told me, I said, Jesus, man, what this nigga is? Who is that? Me, and it angered me, and it angered me, and every time I see these TV shows, this nigga coming out the sky, and these black folks jumping up and down, talking about, so who? God don't need no more. I'm just saying, if you got what? God is a title to me, so I don't believe in none of this shit. I believe it's one big being, or maybe many, or maybe a she. You get what I'm saying? But I don't follow no program from people who are killers. You know what I'm saying? I don't follow none of that. This shit just pissed me off. I said, fuck God. I got him. I met Paul Beauregard in a shot class at York. Let me see. He's coming class on, write his name on the board all the time. Write his name on the board all the time, Paul Beauregard. And I just couldn't stand that shit. And so we checked it out. I don't know who you think he was. So he took me because back then everybody wore silk shirts. So silk shirts was saying street brights, you know what I'm saying? So I had about 20 of these joints. Some polyester, some silk, that is what it was. At least I didn't have the gold caps in my mouth. Everybody wearing them caps. Anyway, I don't think we got along. He was serial killers. I was lyrical gangsters. Both of us kind of arrogant, whatever. So I got kicked out of that school, went to another school, got kicked out of that school for getting into it with a teacher. That was at Central High, and went to North Side. So I ran across Juicy, Jordan Houston. He's coming to class and talk to the teacher. I was in the same class as Big Trees, right? Big Trees. Y'all probably seen him in Hollywood. He never worked or did shit. He just came in class drunk and said motherfucking thing. But you know, after that, I think I got shipped off to Knoxville for getting in trouble. Because you know, I came up in a group home, boys home, foster care and shit. For kids like me, at my age, 13, 14, it's hard to find a placement. So they shipped me to Knoxville. I didn't like it, so I made my best to get everybody in the group home drunk, so they could kick me out. Came back, one of my guys who grew up in the Haven said, Paul is, do I still be talking to Paul? I said, no. I told him, get my number, he gave me Paul's number. You know, like always, this is how we be arrogant. Shit, I waited on him to call me. I guess he waited on me to call him. Anyway, I called him, I said, hey, did you call me? He said, man, you know I ain't call you. And there we go. And that time, it was me, Paul, Lord, and Juicy. Crunch was a dancer, so we ain't ran across Boo yet. And formed the 666, you know. I fuck with Paul. I like this Paul where he, I like to see him, cause he, you know what I'm saying, he's not able to use his right arm, but he's good on the turntables and mixing boards and making tracks. So I saw something in him. You get what I'm saying? I saw somebody trying to do something. I saw somebody like me that had something to prove. And I fuck with that, man. I vowed him, man. I told him, man, Lord, man, we super blood, man. Cause I ain't super blood, man. This how it gonna be. Let's do this, man. He had something to do. He was upset about something. I was upset about something. Let's get these motherfuckers. You hear me? So, I don't know what other guys will come tell you, hey, well, nah, we want, man. Look, you don't play with the 666 right? You know what it is. You do have a conscience. The average person go and say 666, I'm a 666. You just straight up, somebody gonna come and say, you're going to hell. And if you really with that Christian religious shit, you're gonna think you're going straight to hell. You get what I'm saying? So we knew what the fuck it was. I knew what the fuck it was, and I enjoyed it.
3-6 Mafia came out, basically the first rap group to talk about the devil, essentially. 3-6, 666 is, the mark of the beast, right?
Right.
Now, you fast forward 2021, and the gay rapper Lil Nas X makes a music video where he actually goes to hell and he gives Satan a lap dance. And then he put out some shoes with a pentagram on it with human blood in it and all that type of stuff. So you being a 3-6 Mafia guy that's dealt with all that type of satanic type imagery and so forth, what do you think about that video and what he's doing?
Hey, man, the devil, when I met him, and I hate to say I met him, but when I met him, it wasn't what Nas showed us. It was the illusion or I would say illusion of he was a friend more than he was that dude that Nas showed us. You get what I'm saying? the devil would come in my business partner form or come in your form. He would never come in his raw form to a person, period. You get what I'm saying? He always gonna come looking like somebody else, talking like somebody else, acting like somebody else. For Nas to do that, I don't know, Paul, let me shut up. Paul might don't want me saying this. So let me shut up. Let me just shut up. I don't know. This devil shit, I mean, we did that shit. You know what I'm saying? We did that shit for real. Ain't no way you gonna be able to say 666 Mafia, 666, or none of that shit without actually meeting the man. You get what I'm saying? And we can act like we haven't all our lives. And I'm gonna be the bullshit nigga and tell y'all the truth. Ain't nowhere in hell the devil came the way the Nas said, and it worked that way. It's only gonna work the way that he feel like it need to work. I believe in the Lord a lot. I'm rolling with the Lord. I am one of the lowest workers. But I also was able to walk in the devil's den without selling my soul. Y'all know I got shot in Vegas. I was in the room that Tupac died in. So that means that I probably need to have been dead. But just because I believe in the Lord more than I believe in the devil, I'm just saying Nas he was all wrong. He was all wrong. Stop searching for something that you really don't want to be in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to talk. No, what you finna say?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I'm not going to say nothing about the way he really is. Because, you know, everybody got their own choice. But stop searching for something that you really don't want to be fucking with. You can say the wrong word and he'll show up. And I ain't drunk, I ain't high, ain't none of that. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying? They say, man, nigga can't make it that far, bro, unless a nigga goddamn sell they motherfucking soul or some shit.
Yeah, that's for the niggas who can't do nothing else.
Talk to them. Talk to them.
For the niggas who can't do nothing else, they trying to sell something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the niggas who really can get out there and get out of their live straight out the mud, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we do.
We ain't thinking about selling it, so.
You dig?
No, I don't did a lot of shit. I don't met a lot of motherfuckers, but I ain't never sold my soul. My grandma told me that shit ain't worth it.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
So let's go into it.
Yeah, it's a better way to get it.
Talk about it.
And the better way is believing in the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? So you can sell your soul, you can run with the devil. You know, I did. You know what I'm saying? I hung in the devil's den and all that old bullshit. But I'm still right here believing in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Where you start at is where you end at. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no between them unless you lost.
So I gotta tell you the little story, man. It is a quick story. It's a little quick story. I was a young nigga, man, and my mama caught me with a 3-6 Mafia CD, and she went the fuck off me because, you know, a nigga growed up in the church and shit. She broke that motherfucking
anytime they say 3-6
on it. You know what I'm saying? So
we did that for a reason, though.
Yeah. So look, goddamn, we go to this little yard sale. I'm probably about 7 years old, Crunchy. Like 7 years old, man. You feel me?
Right.
We go to this yard sale, and it's these old books and shit. And it was some book about the devil or some shit, and my mama was looking at it. And this motherfucking white man walked by, and he leaned over to my mama, get what he said. He said, some things better left alone. And he just walked out. My mama got scared and put the book back.
Right.
But I was a little boy and I saw that. I always wondered, like, damn, what the fuck was in that book? My mama was scared to see
another life.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
and then I get older and come into 3-6, and then I hear your interviews and shit, and you say, well, shit, man, we really done that shit, man. Like what? Did a nigga walk in the room with a Ouija board? Or, like, who thought of that shit?
Where did it come from? If y'all go way back when we was 666.
Okay.
And we used to rap about the honeycomb hideout.
Honeycomb hideout.
Yeah, the honeycomb hideout. You know, we did all that. Ouija boards, the stars and everything.
Who brought the Ouija board in there, man?
You know, Paul illustrated everything. You know, we looked up to Paul, and then, you know, Paul was me, Boo, Coop, and Lloyd, and we was around Paul most of the time when we was coming up. And then Paul ended up hooking up with Juicy, and then we met Juicy, and we started respecting Juicy just like Paul, because Paul and Juicy was the same.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Memphis niggas back when, we respect who got you to where you at, or where you're trying to go, or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
We didn't act like a nigga didn't do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I enjoy making motherfuckers go crazy and get violent, kiss charges and fight and shit. Get hot, man. You know what I'm saying? And all this shit, what they call funk nowadays. Back then, there was just North Memphis and South Memphis, and what 666 did was made those
two parts of the city come together. South Memphis ought to go to rap, North Memphis to rap, North Memphis ought to go, you know, cause we was all full of, you know what I'm saying, rappers from all over. So we really just say brought the city together. Yes, I was deeply, I don't know about nobody else, but I can tell you, we know we was doing 666. Hey, we exactly knew what it meant. You know what I'm saying? So shit, you know, I kind of didn't want to get into all that, no matter what I blame God for doing, you know. I hated God for what he did. But as it came to the 666, I don't think I hate him that much. But I did it because it was money. And so, you know, I even had the satanic books, the little warlock materials, you know, every warlock got to have a dagger, cut the little coin stars, wear little candles and shit. I had all that. I was into all that. So, because something about the other Bible didn't work out. So I can tell you this, we did, folks with 666, some folks were scared of it and left, put it like that. But me, I meant what I was saying. I definitely meant it. I said it up. So God, you're gonna play like that, huh? Well, I got you. I'm gonna make black folks comfortable with 666. Back then, black folks was like scared of this shit. You know, they wasn't too much on it. It's basically rock and roll. You know, they said 666, they go, ah. Then they start listening to it and go to church. So they said, asked a lot of y'all worship the devil. They say they Christians, but they bumping 666, you know what I'm saying? So my job was out of anger to make black people get comfortable with their name. And I was very intelligent with it because I read a lot about it. You know, so I read a lot of books. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Baptist, I'm not an atheist, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Catholic, I don't believe in Jews, I don't believe in a lot of this bullshit that they make up. I think I was used by Satan, and I think I was used by Satan, and I think I was used by Satan, and I think he's a bitch. I don't fear him. I don't even believe in that motherfucker no more. But just to get black people, you know, once you get the black people, which are the riders of the Bible, they carry the Bible in their back like Jesus, Yahshua, whatever his name is, told the cross, you know what I'm saying, the crux or whatever. But anyway, we got people comfortable with his name, and we made sure we made songs violent. Very, very violent. We made songs very violent. Everything was violent. Sometimes we used to try to come up with stuff to hypnotize people, like repeated of 666, back-to-back 666. I got a bass line, you shaking your head, you high. Using these crazy ass samples that we get off movies and shit. Oh, rock and roll albums that you probably would not even pick up and buy. You know what I'm saying? Like Portishead, Autumn Noise, Metallica and all that. That's what I brought in the group. The diversity of like, hey, why don't we just put some of this rock shit over a hard-ass rap track? And when we do that, we get both crowd, we get the white and black folks. And I tried it, and I won. I did it with the song Ancient Mutilations. I had Lord Infamous chorus on the chorus with the Metallica song. You know what I'm saying? Break it down, 666, repeat it back to back, anything true. Carson said it's hypnotizing, and people like it. So I know I brought a new era into the music business for Memphis, and everybody jumped on it. I meant what I was saying. You know, I really meant it. I hated. I have no sympathy, no care, no who you is, what you are. You gotta understand my situation. I was a runaway. I was supposed to be in custody, but I knew I could take care of myself. I'm going through that, so I did a lot of violent things. People out of shot motherfuckers. Shit, I don't think I killed nobody, but if I did, I'd never tell you. So I like to tell everybody, you know, the reason why, you know, I'm not with that group anymore because I stayed in jail. Ain't nobody else fault but mine. I'm the rapper that out of 3 said they stayed in jail, breached contract. I missed a lot of videos, airplane flights overseas and stuff to help to promote the album. I never was there. I was in jail every year. I just got out 14 years of paper. So it's not nobody else's fault, and nobody go around thinking we were getting fucked out of our money because Paul and got more money now. Stay out of other folk business, start running up and worry about another grown man and try to get another grown man to help you. Them folk deserve this shit, you know what I'm saying? I did my part right here, fucking up motherfuckers to prove they can't fuck with 666. Like I told Paul and them, when they touch us, we're gonna touch their ass right back. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of folks in Memphis know about this shit. There was a lot of crazy shit going on. We went downtown to do an album cover for Mrs. Styles. And you know me, of course, I'm so good at shit. I got on the guy, this me on the cross. Just me, Paulo, and Juice with Crunch on it. He was one part of the group, you know, Boo and Cross, and all them other guys.
While down there is a building, it's called a factory something, but right now it's on Riverside somewhere. Them houses up on Riverside and shit. It's a warehouse. We ran across some shit we weren't looking for. While at the same time we had 666, but then we realized there's some real shit going on. It was actually motherfuckers in this building with the little robes and shit on, little altar and motherfucking looking in that motherfucker. So, you know, we got caught. Damn, they made us watch. So, you know, we leaving. Well, that was the second time. The first time police were pulled up like this. Police said, y'all shouldn't be down here. So that let me know right then it was some shit going on in this world, in this city by rich folks and politicians that's in this shit. And this shit is really serious. So I told myself, hey, well, I'm not the kind to drink blood because you know there's 150 some ways of worshiping Satan. Voodooists, you got Satanists, occults, all kind of shit, witchcraft, sorcerers, all this shit. So I guess I was just a goddamn messenger. You get what I'm saying? This shit is real. I went by Southwind and ran across a motherfucker with a bonfire. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it, I said, I guess I was, what you call that? You know, I was a clean, fancy type Satanist. Whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying?
Us as N36 Mafia, you know, we have like our own style. And then, you know, put together, you know, mystic styles, you know. Lord have mercy, all me, way different. Put that together, you have something hard.
Like that, and I guess I would like to, because I want the thumb of the earth, like going wearing all the goddamn crazy colors and necklaces. I did have upside down crosses and shit. I did have black fingernails. But I ain't that crazy off the wall kind. I'm strictly because there's levels in it. You got motherfuckers that go from the black robes to the chains and cuts on their bodies to motherfuckers with Italian suits on in the politics. It's really there, the shit really exists. And I'm trying to see right now because I read a lot of Satan, this shit in the 666 is bullshit.
I tried to like make my gun go blogger.
Well, you tried to kill it. What, did he cheat on you?
Okay, so like the first time, no, this all happened in once. So bam, I went to the club. He wanted to text me back, and you know he had the location on his phone.
Oh, so you had his location, so you know.
Yeah,
okay.
And so I went in there trying to fight, but then he was getting embarrassed, so he would like go to the back. So we went to the back, and so I did that. He hit my ass back. I'm like. So,
oh, he hit you back?
Yeah, he never hit me back before. So I went in my gun. I went in my pocket. Like I normally have my gun in my purse.
So you just, by the way, you got into the club with a gun, no problem.
Yeah,
okay.
I was clean.
Cool.
It was in Fraser, Memphis, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I normally have my gun in my purse, and he know that, but I didn't walk in the club with my purse because I didn't.
Don't kid yourself, son. This is going to mean an awful lot of hard work. Now, I hope you're up to it. Now you punks will get it. Play. 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 Play.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I propose to make those that fade, vanish, and disappear before your played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is but a small part of what you will witness tonight as you attend my performance of Mystery and Magic in the High School Auditorium. Tickets only $50.
associated with these places in Jesus' name. Lord, please, in Jesus' name, bind up every demon spirit, Heavenly Father, associated with mind control. Heavenly Father, the music business, the music industry, in Jesus' name, Lord. This is the New Age school. My granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, went here 1 year. Stacks Academy. And I know that they really advertised it hard when it first opened. And, they thought it was a great thing. Everybody, Grandma Gwen is letting it be known, the different spots that she's aware of in her city and town. And I mean, she's got it down as well as I had it down with mine, as well as Nikki Marie. Sister Minister Nikki Marie has it down with hers. So she's really showing me the places and spaces that I know the Lord wants touched here. Okay. And a lot of times those are spaces and places that we've been taught to revere because of history and nostalgia and all that other stuff. But the truth oftentimes is much more sinister and dark. When it comes to those things, landmarks, places that we revere, things that we revere in the devil's world, where the devil is the prince of this world, will oftentimes have a more devilish intention or origin than you could ever imagine. And it's the same with Stacks. Same thing with Stacks Recording Studios. Let me just see here what's happening. Say hi to the tourists from Detroit. How you doing? Now, ain't it a shame? I never been inside the Motown Museum. Lived in Detroit my whole life. Never been inside it. But I bet y'all come in here. All right. God bless y'all. Live in Memphis with our family here and looking at the pyramid, famous Memphis pyramid. Now is owned by Bass Pro Shops and Ducks Unlimited, Big Cypress Lodge, Redhead, Tennessee's Great American Outdoor Store. So it now has the guise of, this is a place where hunters and sportsmen, can come and find a utopia. But we know that there's more to it than meets the eye, so we're going to check it out and see what the Lord wants us to say while we're walking this way. In Jesus' name, amen. Now let's see, we got Big Cypress Lodge. Now, you know, we've all seen the pyramid a bunch of times, but, you know, did you ever know what was in here? Now, Grandma Gwen has informed me of a lot of things around this city, but also that this place was in ruins. The pyramid was in ruins, and they just recently made a big deal about selling it to Bass Pro. And as you first come in, the first thing that struck me, that's the entrance door there. The first thing that struck me when you walk in, as soon as you walk in, you're going straight, you see right there was that sign that said, bam, welcome to paradise. We know what the pyramid represented to old Egypt. This is new Egypt that we live in. So what does you think that it represents right now? The rebuilding of this nation. They have plans to rebuild this nation even after disaster strikes and it's in shambles. Okay? You remember their slogan, order out of chaos. They'll create chaos or allow chaos to go so far so that they can bring in a new law and order, or a new rule of law and order. Like you hear your boy Trump the Chump saying, and old Daddy Bush used to say. So we're going to walk around here a little bit and, you know, do what we do, and that's pray. You got to come in through turnstiles. They got shopping carts for you in case you want to buy stuff. This is a new type of experience here.
Like I said, they got live fish in the pond.
Live fish in the pond.
They got a restaurant over there, Uncle Bud. It's reasonable, and you can bowl in there. They
wow.
They got a whole meal department and footwear. They got everything. It's like being at a mall.
Like being at a mall.
It is. It really is. They got their shooting gallery here. They got the shooting range upstairs.
A real live shooting range.
You can bring your guns in here. You have to disarm them and everything. And check with us. We lock them for you till you get upstairs. When you come back downstairs, we unlock them when you go out.
Wow.
As long as you got a permit.
Right.
Yeah, but they'll check all that when you go upstairs. We just lock them when you bring them in here. Yes, ma'am. Just remember, you're on the south side, because once you start traveling, you're going to get lost.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Back there.
Okay.
You all enjoy everything, okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grandma Gwen, say hello to the people.
Hello. Hello, people.
Grandma Gwen has been our gracious host here in Memphis. She will be hosting when Charles gets here as well. We'll just be here probably a day or so after he gets here. We're just going to be here to do our work and then keep it moving. But we're going to have a little fellowship tonight, and perhaps we'll let y'all in on a little bit of that too as well, okay? I love our family down here in Tennessee. You know, y'all are really watched. Y'all know where my grandma from, right? Grandma Jackson is from Tennessee. And so I really feel at home, and Grandma Gwen has made me feel at home just like I'm blood. So we're gonna keep it just like that, all right? So let's check it out, all right?
They belonged to a sinister secret society. Their symbol was a black dragon. Take a good look at these humorless men.
Hey, yo, hip hop. You over 50 years old. Now, will you please grow up and raise your ratchet sons and daughters? The government-sponsored Sedgwick Avenue project projected an effect on the projects, a cursed land where it all began. They came and stole the sap. A demented government mystery mind control program cemented in South Bronx history, hidden beneath the boom bap. They took control of rap. It started way back with the older rap. And after all of that, brought them back around like an old cul-de-sac when she turned 50. We sillily listed the top 3 MCs and revisited Marley's The Symphony. We let the young men get swallowed up by a culture and a dream that never followed up. Through expression, we get some decompression from the stress and tension that's bottled up. Devils conjured up to release when we play it. Old entertainment stars fear for their grandchildren's lives, so they can't say it. It never was our culture in the first place. They had a funerary service on the birthday. It's been co-opted and appropriated. Went from gang-related to castigated to incorporated. Now it's just Freemasonic symbolically associated. The predecessors of the hip-hop cops stop and compromise some young arrested guy, and if he's a gang leader, coerce him to do something worse than just testify. The Black Spades, Africa Bambaataa, the Zulu Nation. Government intel to change the gang initiation. An infiltration in your favorite neighborhood organization, Reaganomically instated inflation and segregation. Increased incarceration of a depressed urban population. They need a better job situation and transportation to a quality education. They don't trust the bus, so give them a culture. It's just their imagination. Hating Satan said, let's encage them in a mental sepulcher. Harmonic and rhythmic ASMR sedation. As a woman goes, so goes the nation. So is it really to the culture, or rather to the children and those that raise them, that you owe your love and dedication?